All right, so launching up to YouTube. We got about about an hour until Dylan's around. Oh, let me get virtual cam. There we go. So yeah, we got some time in which we can do some documentation stuff. And yeah, how's everyone's day going? Man, I really liked that chat. That was fun. All right, so got the music, got all this stuff set right. I think we're good. Sweet. No, so next week it'll be on like Wednesday, my typical day off. So I'll be going into town, and then I got Seattle JS just that night, so it's a great day for it. I'll be able to have the conversation, etc., and then go get some ramen from somewhere delicious, and then go to Seattle JS. That sounds great to me. Seattle JS is a local area meetup. So it's a JavaScript-focused meetup. It's pretty much like the main Seattle meetup going right now for technology. I don't think Go meets in person yet, right, since COVID. Back before COVID, it easily had like 100 people plus going to it every month. Now it's at about like somewhere between 40 and 60. Oh, absolutely. It's just seattlejs.com. One second, let me get you the link. Oh, yeah, it's a really good showing. Yeah, Seattle Angular peaked at about, like, 60, right? At, like, pre-COVID. So, yeah, it's hard to build a meetup that strong. So, yeah, Seattle JS kills it. Yeah, the organizers are awesome people. So yeah. Are they welcoming of new people? At Seattle JS? Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the way you do it is you go pay for a ticket over here on wherever they got it. There's the early bird and the late bird. For one of them, they had like a no money one, right? But this basically gets you like a drink ticket at the place they do it. No, this is super good, right? Super good for like new people, first time heading to a meetup. They'll even ask often, like, whose first time is it here? Who's been here 2 times, 3 times, 4 times? 5 times, and I've made it to pretty much every single one since like 2015, like, or 2014. Yeah, so I've been there a lot. I've spoken at more than most people have been to, which is funny. I spoke at it twice last year. Thanks, Donnie. 1 second, Tokyo. So yeah, you're saying auto bleep? So it's just like a file path, right? So auto bleep is a CLI tool. Right, so usage would look basically like auto bleep. The input would be the video wherever it is on your file system. The output would be wherever you want the audio output. And it's using FFmpeg under the hood for, you know, conversion and extraction. Yep. And yeah, if you want to do like your own swear words, you can have your own like bleep.json file for, you know, whatever. Yeah, it might make sense to do just the Docker container if you don't want to have to install like pip or pipenv. Hey, thank you, Donnie. Appreciate that. Yeah, we get the Edward Furlong thing somewhat frequently. We even have a little joke emote for it. So, yeah, that didn't throw me off at all. I was going to say, though, you're saying I look like older Edward Furlong, and them's fighting words. You can say younger Edward Furlong, and I won't bat an eye. But older Edward Furlong? I'm a little offended. But not that much. Oh, itchy ear. Boy. All right. Whew. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I definitely get like that adrenaline rush hopping on like a first call with a company. So I'm like tingle fingers and everything. But yeah, let's get to some documentation stuff. So one thing we uncovered is that Rust, OCaml, Elixir, and Go all have a centralized documentation repository. That doesn't mean just a README file on NPM. That means literally like docs.rs. Right? They host your documentation for you. And it is specifically for their idiomatic documentation framework, right? So far, I've only seen these 4 languages that do that. Does anyone else know of any other languages that have a centralized documentation resource? Right? Elixir, it's hexdocs. OCaml, it's right there on their package repository. Rust, we just talked about. Go, it's right there within the package repository. So, yeah. All I'm trying to do is make sure that I don't waste time hammering out this giant list of methods and arguments for the API if I don't have to, because I could use some idiomatic tool instead, right? So for Elixir, that whole section would look just like this. Full API documentation found at hexdocs. Boom. Does Zig have a centralized docs resource? I'm not sure. Ooh, Zig docs. So they got their Zig language documentation. Like, look at it this way. Does Zig have a package repository yet? There's a tool, Zon, right? So yeah, like, if you don't even have a package repository, it's unlikely you're going to have like a centralized docs repository. I believe they go hand in hand, but I like the idea of separating them. So yeah, it does look like there is a package manager, but I think it's like closer to like Go's package manager, where I wouldn't even consider like package.go.dev as a centralized repository. It's more of just like a a lookup tool, right? It's more like an index instead. Dart might. Ooh, that's a good point. Dart packages, right? I forget where it is. Pub.dev. Yeah, 1 second. So yeah, if we go find just some library, let's say getx. I really like getx. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's just get. So when we look for documentation, the API reference actually lives right here at pub.dev. Perfect. Yeah, good call. Dart is definitely one of them. We don't have a Dart SDK yet, but we will. We have like a version 0.x SDK, but we don't have the 1.x SDK yet. And there's a lot of changes. Does Ruby? I don't know. Ruby gems? What's a popular Ruby gem? I mean, Rails, right? We look at documentation here. Nope, so they link out to Ruby on Rails for their documentation. Maybe some other popular gem? Oh, rubydoc.info. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if that's, like, standard. Or if that's, just, like, commonly used. So, what's another library? Let's go to M. Oh, man! Metal! Yeah. The Ruby docs site, I think, is still useful. So hold on. We should actually create links. For at least the ones that we care about. PHP definitely does not have that, from what I've seen. We can double check. We'll go look at Packagist and try and click around and see if something has it, right? Just like with the Ruby docs, or you know, like not everything might use it. So let's go look at Packagist. So hold on. Let's think about a package. Twig? I like Twig templating. Nope. Yeah, I think we looked at a few of these. Guzzle is on... Oh, wait, hold on. Read the docs. Hold up. Read the docs might actually be it. Oh. Yeah, so like a repository to search within is one thing, but a centralized hosting of the documentation is another. So even for the Lua thing, I'd just put it in my README and that's it, right? For JavaScript, I'd put it in my README and that's it. What I'm double checking is, right, I don't want to duplicate docs in a README and then also have it in the centralized place. Yeah, so I don't think read the docs is really what we're looking for. It's agnostic, right? Yeah, anything can be hosted on read the docs. So yeah, that's not what I'm looking for either. But, all right, so that works. This is actually more than I was expecting. We don't have these SDKs done yet. Swift? Yeah, I don't remember one for Objective-C at all. But maybe Swift does? I mean, the package repository for Swift is still Cocoa, right? Or, yeah, Cocoa, right? Oh, swiftpackageindex.com. Okay. Yeah, it looks like just a README. It's not Cocoa. Cocoa's the name of the framework. It's Cocoa Pods. That's it. Yeah, so I don't know. What's a popular Cocoa Pods library? Cocos 2D? They probably have their own documentation, right? So Cocoa Pods is very much just an index. Yikes. No idea. I see README and release notes. Maybe there's a larger package. Nah, so it's just README and release notes. Actual API documentation probably lives elsewhere. All of them. I'm a collector. Oh, yep. Yeah, see, so I think Swift packages are still heavily encouraged to host their own docs. Which is a problem, right? like a huge problem. Right? Which is one of the biggest benefits to the centralized documentation repository, right? No, everything from that tab to the left is my archive. And some of these tabs we've known longer than a bunch of people watching right now. Yeah, exactly. I think even like with Swift, you're encouraged to self-host, which I think we're already seeing why that can be an issue. No, Tokyo, you misunderstand how Chrome aggressively puts tabs to sleep. Aggressively puts tabs to sleep. And also, I think you misunderstand what virtual memory is. If you don't use it, it goes into virtual memory and page to disk. Done. If I had to choose one tab, oh, I mean, definitely this one. The Trello projects board. Definitely the Trello projects board. And you like how I was able to find it that fast? No big deal. But yeah, right? Like this projects board goes deep. Can and will are separate things. But yeah. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite tab. But all right. Yeah. I think we can pour a beverage. I still got the adrenaline rush going a bit. But what's everyone up to? And yeah, how you doing, Bad Cop? I hope I didn't upset you the other day when we were discussing the Astro thing. I definitely said a sorry, but you may have already left. Just in case, like, I don't know. It did seem like the way I was phrasing things was a bit dismissive. All right, dismissive, sorry. Mispronounced that. No, I get you. I understand. Still, it doesn't make it okay. I just wanted to make sure, you know, the sentiment was there. Right. Even if you weren't upset, I just wanted to make sure that I apologized if you were. Because I didn't intend any of that. So I just wanted to make sure it didn't happen. Cool, thank you. All right, let's close some tabs down. I know, that's a very rare statement. We don't need the Next.js stuff anymore, or Nest.js stuff. I know. Hold on. You've been a good contributor. I apologize, Solo Rogue. Oh, there's an underscore. There you go. You shouldn't get your message deleted anymore because of that. Sorry. I get it there. Yeah. Oh, it is that Ryan Winchester guy. I was about to say, like, wait, is Solo Rogue Ryan Winchester in disguise? Is that his Batman alter ego? But no, yeah, exactly. So we addressed this yesterday. We'll make a comment about it real quick. Oh, really? I don't think I knew that Ryan was Canadian. Huh. How's it going, Worsty? Yeah, so I'm going to comment on this, let him check out the site and tell me what he thinks, because we did address this just a little bit yesterday. I guess this technically is a sour. I just call it lemonade. It's just a lemonade. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that is Cap Hill. Cool. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's just a lemonade. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so yeah. I like the way we did this, right? So the used by companies list. We're going to want that. I think we're linking out to that in our docs. So yeah, we're good there. Yep, we can close that for now. We've got tasking open twice. That's fun. All right, cool. Ooh, that would be a good channel point redemption, though, wouldn't it? Right? Read a tab at random. Right, so then we just randomly, like, pick one of these. I think, is this an Adi Osmani? No. GitHub Actions and Vanity Metrics. That could be fun. I don't remember why I saved this, but... yeah, so for basically, like, generating badges and stuff. Yes, I remember now. Yep. Yeah, I actually wanted to keep that one around. 15K? Sure. It's not a bad option. No. So, Worsty, we actually used to have that. And I hated it. I hated it so much. Yeah. Some people might remember when we had tab antics. There was actually a command that you could do for channel points to explode every tab into its own window, and it ended up looking like when you win at solitaire. It was pretty good. That was a fun one. Oh, it was solid. That one was good. I had to beg people to combine them back again. Yeah, there's a flatten command as well. Yeah, we lost all that code when that hard drive died, but it wouldn't be hard to remake it. All those APIs are really simple. The one that was really like rough was the shuffling. We would actually shuffle tabs and you can see it happen in real time. That one was pretty brutal. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, that was a fun project. I wanted to turn it into like a bits reward. How bad are my bookmarks? I don't bookmark much of anything. I don't know. Let's look. Oh, you can't see it. Show all bookmarks. So I got something in archives. I think I had that back when we had tab antics. That way I could still keep my archives. Leaving off, I should probably just delete these. But right, like, I haven't looked at this in ages. So this is where tabs go to die. One second. I know there are plenty of things I could use, right? I know Kbyte. I could use tab groups and minimize those if I want. I could do vertical tabbing. I could do all sorts of stuff. I'm not bothered by the amount of tabs I have at all. It's only y'all that can't seem to get over it. I'm not worried about it. I'm fine with what I got. Yeah, exactly, right? All right, so and at times when you need something that takes that RAM, Chrome will aggressively put all those tabs into virtual memory, and then you've got your RAM for what you actually need anyway. Right? Like, virtual memory has existed for a long time. I don't think people realize how pervasive it is, how often it gets used. It's also why your computer slows to a crawl when you run out of disk space, because that's what virtual memory is. It's just a page file on disk. So if you're having heavy memory pressure issues and you have 1 gig free on your hard drive or SSD, well, that's your problem. All right, so the name sounds familiar, Bob. I don't remember what they did. Yeah, I don't remember what it was at all. I mean, we got time. We're chilling. Today's a bit randomized due to, you know, the call in the middle, so we did a longer news crawl. And we're going to have dmmulroy on whenever he's ready. No stress. Right? In about a half hour, but maybe a little longer. That's fine. I'm curious to ask him what he cooked. Because, yes, I'm a foodie. This is a foodie stream in disguise. Okay, so StumbleUpon was a browser extension, toolbar, and mobile app with a stumble button that, when pushed, opened a semi-random website or video that matched the user's interests. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. They call it Mix now. Okay. That looks broken. Yeah, it seems to me like StumbleUpon was basically like a browser extension version of Dig. Is that accurate? Right? Dig like D-I-G-G. Oh, really? Oh, Dig is actually like, it's a little older, but if you've ever heard of the Reddit hug of death, that's actually a newer version of the Dig effect, or being slash dotted, right? When your site makes it to one of those aggregators and you get so much traffic to your website that it just dies, that's known as the Dig effect, or being slash dotted, or the Reddit hug of death. I believe there's a term for Hacker News. I think they still call it the hug of death. But yeah, it's a very common thing where you'll write a blog post and then it gets really popular and your site crashes because it got really popular. Right? And that's actually a really, really bad problem, and why I think serverless is really important. Because you could handle that scale if you needed. Technically, a static site could handle that scale as well, rather than WordPress, right? Consuming WordPress into a static site would handle that scale just fine, right? But it's really just people operating a simple fly-by-night CMS on a very small VPS server and not being able to handle that scale, right? So yeah, Dig is old. It's the Dig effect. It's an old thing. But those terms, the fact that there's like a specific term for it, for getting so much load from someone enthusiastically sharing your thing, it's not even like a DDoS, like maliciously. It's just a DDoS because people want to see your thing. Oh, interesting, Bob. Dig Nation. I don't remember that at all. I never actually used Dig. I just know that it was the, it was the predecessor to the slash dot, like, effect or whatever, like being slash dotted. I used to read slash dot all the time. I think it went way downhill after an acquisition, but I don't remember why I stopped. I think it just stopped giving me relevant articles. And I don't remember why. I thought it was an acquisition, but I can't remember now. So I wouldn't say older, but I would say Dig hit a level of scale before slash dot. Yeah, I feel like for some reason Dig was more like consumer focused. Oh, interesting, Bob. Yeah, that's a good idea. I did not know about Dignation. But Slashdot was everything at one time. Like, when you're saying everything at one time, basically, like, the reason why you stopped using it? Or do you mean more just, like, the content provided? Because I think a big thing about Dig was it was a broader focus. Slashdot was really news for nerds or whatever, right? So there was actually like a very strict cutoff of content that just wouldn't make it there, wouldn't get popularized, and would actively be like adminned out. Whereas Dig was anything, you know? So I think Slashdot was really like more niche until that niche grew large enough. I publish to Product Hunt from time to time, but I don't use it on a regular basis. I get people reaching out to me on LinkedIn all the time to get me to like help promote their thing on Product Hunt just because I made a post on LinkedIn once about getting to the top 10. I think twice, actually, technically. I don't think this doxes anything. Someone asked about like the viewership on my YouTube videos. And I pointed out that, yeah, I may not have a lot of videos, but I get decent enough numbers on a few of them, like, and it's getting bigger and better every time. But the main reason is because of y'all, right? Twitter, or Twitch and Twitter are probably the biggest driver of my traffic on YouTube. So really, like, any of these platforms are synergistic with building a presence on any other platform. So even the Product Hunt stuff. I think less so because, I don't know, how many of y'all actually use Product Hunt? So instead, it's about providing something on Product Hunt for free, usually, that grabs people's attention. I think AppWrite has done it really well, where they release like little like micro products to Product Hunt to help promote AppWrite. Like, kind of genius. Yeah, I still think Product Hunt's good, but you get a lot of people trying to take shortcuts. And technically, yeah, utilizing my audience on other platforms to drive a Product Hunt launch, that's basically the same thing. So I have no room to, like, naysay it. But a lot of people end up trying to take the shortcut of just reaching out to any other person who's ever released a Product Hunt to get their support. And it ends up feeling very spammy. So I think that's the big difference. Does your product actually seem authentic, or is it just spam? Right? How did people get there? And I think that is probably something I should have shouted out in the interview as well. Right? Authenticity can't be bought. Can't be gamed. And once you lose it, it's gone. And I think authenticity actually sells real people. Personally. So you worked at a company where you hired an agency to get you to #1. Yeah, they're the people that spam me, right? Those are totally the people spamming me. I think it went well. It was more like an introductory conversation, just chatting about what I think I could offer, right? Them talking about what they needed, things like that. And it was actually just a really good conversation. It was cool. Right? And he was very upfront about it, like, yeah, we may not be able to move within the timeline you're looking for, which was cool, which is fine, right? I love that transparency. Hope he's okay, me saying some of this stuff. You don't know what company it was or any of that. But yeah. I think it was good. Yeah, I think it was a solid interview. Like, there's a follow-up interview scheduled, you know? That's usually a good win. Yeah, so Make, that's what I was doing during that segment when we showed the birth and death of JavaScript. It was originally going to be the reason that I couldn't stream today because I would have to drive into Seattle. But they wanted to pivot to a Zoom, which is even better, which means I get to stream today and we get to see dmmulroy here in half an hour or so. Which is awesome. I'm really pumped on it. Things actually worked out really well, and I was somewhat skeptical. So, yeah, right? The timing and things being up in the air, falling into place, I actually really enjoy that. I think that's a good sign. I like when things fall into place. It does leave you with a bit of that, like, imposter syndrome of, like, well, things just kind of worked out, so I don't know. Did I deserve it? But again, like, really, the things that tend to work out, they work out for a reason, not because of just random luck. And it's hard to, like, really rationalize that sometimes. All right, when I first got my sponsored gear as a snowboarder, things just kind of worked out. I was just riding a rail jam on a Target snowboard. Someone from the company that put on the rail jam was like, dude, we need to talk. That was awesome. That was great. So yeah, like at some point, just because something feels easy doesn't mean it was. It means that you set up the circumstance right. Yeah, it was really cool. I don't know if I believe him when he said this, right? The dude that ended up, like, you know, being my advocate for sponsoring me or whatever. But, like, literally, he told me that they would have given me first place if they weren't planning on giving me a free snowboard anyway. So instead, I got third place, and I'll take it. I'll take it. That was awesome. I had a backpack that lasted me a good, like, 6 or 7 years from that company. That was awesome. And then I ended up getting free board and bindings out of it. Eventually free boots. At one point for, like, a year or two, free outerwear, but then they stopped doing that part. Yeah, and this was especially like a snowboard backpack, so it's exposed to the elements very often, for sure. But yeah, good stuff. Ah, man. Yeah, I still got the adrenaline going. Like, man. But yeah, Inspired you to learn Wasm. Yeah, that video was amazing, Doclock. That's my favorite presentation ever given. And he gave it in 2014. This is 10 years ago. And he predicted the entire future that we're kind of seeing play out. Maybe not on the timeline, he said, but whoa. Right? So really cool. Yeah, Birth and Death of JavaScript is my favorite talk of all time because it's actually incredibly technical, but really entertaining too. Right? That's really hard to do. Yeah, you didn't realize the year it was made. It was done at PyCon 2014. Yeah, man. Like, dude. I have a picture with Gary Bernhardt from the Christmas party at Seattle JS, because he's actually here in the Northwest. He was a little uncomfortable me asking for it, but he was still a good sport about it. So yeah, I got that photo. Yeah, I would say check out all of his new stuff. I would say check out all of his content, right? There's the WAT video, which is just 5 minutes of fun pointing out weird things in languages. There's Birth and Death of JavaScript. I really like his talk about boundaries because that helps you think about like making testable code. And then there's another one about like just like a different way of thinking or something like that. That was really good too. Oh, no, you won't make me uncomfortable at all. Nope, that happens. That's no big deal. I'm over being awkward when someone says they saw my stream randomly at an event or something. That's fine. Yeah, I'm stoked on it. It happens more often than you would think. I've chatted with Trash Dev, I think maybe it was like a tweet or something, where he's like, yeah, no one would recognize me. I think he's wrong. People would absolutely recognize Trash Dev. For sure. He underestimates how pervasive like Twitch streaming is. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people that, you know, you mention their name and random devs might not know who they are at all. Right? I've mentioned Theo and the Primogen to random people and they're like, who are they? Okay, that's fine. But statistically, you're going to run into a handful of people, bare minimum, out of some number that definitely know their content. People who have probably seen it but didn't recognize them by name. All sorts of stuff like that. The content creation aspect of all this stuff is pretty crazy. That makes sense, Bob. Honestly, though, I'm like overexposed. I stream way too much. So there's a little bit to that. But Make, so what made me get into the dev world from snowboarder to programmer? My parents were programmers. I'll do this spiel. We got time. We're in storytelling mode right now anyway. We're probably not doing any docs right now, and that's okay. Because to even get into the docs, wait, you know, it'd take us some time and we'd be like stuck in the middle of it when we switch gears. So yeah, story time I think works. So basically, my parents were programmers. My dad designed the SMS 800 computer system. And when I say design, like the hardware put together to scale to supporting every 1-800 number dialed here in the US. Yes, that is 3 locations separated by 300 miles each for redundancy, etc. He designed that entire thing. SMS 800 is a term I heard way too much as a kid. My mom helped write number portability for the 1-800 system. Now, she was on a team that did this. My dad basically designed that stuff solo. My mom was on a team that helped write number portability for the 1-800 system. What that means is a 1-800 number could be routed to any other phone number, right? That level of number portability, I believe, I don't have any real like data to back this up, is most likely why we can take our cell phone number with us from company to company. If you don't remember, back in the day, if you moved, you got a whole new phone number because certain phone companies had blocks of phone numbers. You could not keep your phone number forever back in the day. You can do that now. Your landline phone number can be routed to any other landline location real easy from company to company, etc. So my mom helped write that. And this is all like 1990 Belcore stuff. You have that for cell phones, but not for landlines. Oh, interesting, Bob. Okay. Interesting. Is that because you have like a national landline telecom? In Malaysia? So I'm willing to bet in Malaysia you have one telephone company for landlines, right? Whereas cell phones might be separate. Which is not the case in the US due to like splitting up Ma Bell and some of that stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud about that one. But anyway, so yeah, my parents were programmers while I was a snowboard bum. My mom was doing remote work for Microsoft, and she just worked at home, you know? So yeah, during like the spring and fall when I wasn't snowboarding, I'd be home at the family house, and she'd be working from home, doing whatever she wants, cooking whenever she wanted, right? Going out for groceries whenever she wanted, and then putting in the hours any time of day. That looked amazing to me as a previous snowboard bum who worked. I never did lift operations, but I did terrain park, rentals, ski check, dishwasher, janitor, line cook, technically prep cook, or not line cook, but pantry, prep cook, banquets. I've worked like at least 8 different jobs as a snowboard bum. And always like, you know, you're there for your shift kind of stuff. So seeing my mom being able to work any time of day, as long as she delivers, was a thing that sold me on dev as like the future for me, right? My career. Because remote work, as long as you get your stuff done, is great. So yeah, that sold me. Like that was it. That was the big thing. But you know, keep in mind, I had previously already, in my high school years, they gave us, an HTML class. So I learned basic HTML. I think some CSS in that class. Flash was big at the time. I tried making a friend's website in Flash previously. Like I had experience using Flash for animation. Making a website with Flash was a bit new to me. But again, the biggest thing is having the mentality that someone else can do it, I can do it too. That applies not just to dev, that applies to snowboarding, that applies to so many things in our lives. Someone else did it, I can figure it out. What, you think you're better than me? That's actually the number one mentality you need to get good at something. What, you think you're better than me? I know. There's a whole bunch of people out there that say, no, when you compare yourself to other people, you lose, right? Because comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, I don't know, man. As a snowboarder, seeing some people spin off a jump when I didn't feel like doing it that day would kind of force me to go do it, and it made me better. So you do need a little bit of a competitive nature, in my opinion. You need to compare yourself to other people. At the bare minimum, you need to compare yourself to who you were previously. So yeah, personally, if someone else can do it, why can't I? Now keep in mind, there are certain things out there, like, yeah, why can't I play in the NBA? Because I'm 5'5". Okay? Muggsy Bogues made it happen in the 90s. Muggsy Bogues wouldn't make it onto any national team, even if he was young at this point. If it's been done, I can do it too, within reason. Would I be a good sumo wrestler? Hell no. I'm okay with that. Could I play, NFL linebacker? Hell no. I'm okay with that, right? So there's a little bit of recognizing your limitations as well. No, so Bedtime Bear, I had aspirations when I was young, and then I didn't make a JV team because the guy said I was too short. Even though I was good on defense, right? I had a pretty good shot. I scored points in our scrimmages, had assists, etc. No, I was just too short. By a teacher who's my height now. Right? The coach / PE teacher that said I was too short was 5'5", 5'6". Like, that's just so rude. Ugh, how dare you? And technically, I am like the perfect size for a snowboarder. Yeah, it was very disillusioning. It hurt. But he's right, you know? What would I do up against a 6'10" powerhouse like LeBron James? Nothing. All right? Whole lot of nothing. I'd take a lot of charges. That'd be my specialty. I'd just let him charge me. I'd be real good at planting my feet before I saw he was like going for it. Bam! Right? No big deal. I would elicit charge calls from LeBron and hopefully get him technically fouled out after 6. Or after, what is it, 5 or 6? I forget the number. No, charging doesn't get you free throws until it's a technical. Yeah, charging is just a change of possession. Until they get their number 6, I think. Right? Anyone out there like big NBA people? I haven't watched or paid attention to NBA since I was in... Well, basically since I got cut from that team. Right? Since I didn't make those tryouts. That's how much it hurt. But he was right. So, I hold no grudge. Very good at stealing the ball because of his height? Yeah, that might be it. After 5 fouls, every foul is a free throw. Yep. Ooh, no. So hold on, though. It's, wait, is it 5 fouls for the team per quarter? Because I know it's 5 fouls per player for the game, not the quarter. I didn't know about the quarter rule. That one might be new since I stopped following NBA. Yeah, people would accuse me of flopping, for sure. Six fouls per player per game fouls you out? Oh, see, I thought 6 fouls per player per game just became a technical. Right? Like number 6 would be like it's a technical foul now, and the other team gets free throws. Oh, really? Has it always been that way? For some reason, I can only seem to remember, like, flagrants were the only thing that would get you taken out. But yeah, no, I'm probably mixing that up. You're probably right. I think I'm mixing it up. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm probably just mixing it up. It's just been that long since I paid attention, so that's my fault. All right, so yeah, assuming dmmulroy is still down, if he ends up, you know, being real tired after cooking, that's fine. I get it. But we should, as long as he's still okay with it, we should be seeing dmmulroy here, and he'll be teaching us more about OCaml. In the meantime, let's look at what we're doing here. I'm pretty sure we've got some things we want to fix to align the APIs of these various SDKs, because I think I pass these arguments in the wrong, or in different orders. I think the common order is base URL first, then environment, then instance ID. And here's the crazier part. Yeah, this API section right here, we haven't actually aligned our variable names properly. These are still the Rust variable names. Yeah, so we've got a lot of like inconsistencies to fix here. All right, so it looks like we only call those in a couple places. Bam. Yes, so for Vexilla, I think the initial Vexilla monetization strategy is a service, right? Do you need help integrating feature flags into your thing at your company, right? For people that are unfamiliar, we can help educate you about what feature flags are, that kind of thing. Right, so that would be like a what's the term? It's like developer something engineer. It's not dev relations necessarily. It's not dev advocate. It's more like there's another term for it. But focusing on maybe private companies needing to integrate feature flags into their thing. Right. So yeah, services, I think, is the initial way of monetizing this. Yeah, like a professional services, but it's like there's a specific term for a person that focuses on that. Yeah, developer solutions engineering. Yeah, support engineer works. You know, it's like a fuzzy term. There's a lot of different names for it. I think I'm still missing like yeah, I don't remember the name. But yeah, like a lot of those terms can actually encompass what this is. And hey, what's up, Dylan? Mr. Sir. You good to go? Right? No rush if you want to take some time to like prep a bit. That's fine. Up to you. But yeah, I can get started going here in a sec. I do have to use the restroom real quick, so maybe just give me like a couple minutes. Just like a minute. Yeah, give you like 5. Perfect. I'm going to use the restroom. I'm going to start setting up some of the other stuff. Take your sweet time. No rush. And yeah, we'll be going here in just a sec. BRB. So, I'm back. Ooh, that guy, OCamls. There you go. Ooh, got a commute? Oh, you were at the office today, bedtime. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, hold on. I spilled some water on my desk yesterday, and it has not evaporated yet. Because it was covered by the keyboard all night. There we go. What up, X Factor? How you doing, Mr. Sir? It was good. Yeah. At the bare minimum, the dude I talked to is someone that I'd happily, I think, like, grab a beer with and just chat, right? Like, talk tech, etc. So bare minimum, like, yeah, really cool company so far. Yeah, for sure. Right? At one of the previous ones, right, the 6 interview one, the hiring manager for that team was also one of those. The last interview, I feel like less so. I don't want to dox it or say who or any of that, right? No need to be toxic. But yeah. Wait. So Dylan, yeah, are you back? Let me launch up. Let me get guest star going. When do you start your gig? I forgot that one. You're good to go? Perfect. Yeah. So I'm starting up. Let me get guest stars going. Yeah. When do you start on the 20th? Cool, man. Nice. So you get a little bit of time to like chill for a bit, do some of your own stuff. Man, yeah, I'm happy for you. Yeah, that's really cool, man. Yeah, really pumped. Four-wheel, oh, whoa. Oh, I know what's going on right now. I know what's going on. Yeah, hold on, give me a sec. This needs to be the virtual camera. There we go, and now I just need to reset my webcam. I was testing out, whoa, that is crazy looking. We just went film noir mode, no big deal. All right, there we go. Fixed it. Hold on. Did that invite send? Did I forget to click the right button? I'm going to click it one more time, Dylan. Sorry. Okay, so someone already did that. Perfect. No, that was on my end. Oh, hold on. My microphone is now peaking. Oh, hey, what's up, Dylan? All right, I probably have double audio. Actually, not yet, right? Once we get into the Discord, though, we will. Boom. All right, so I'm muted on Discord. You should not have any double audio now. Yep, I hear you. Stream, did you hear him? Was it loud enough? Can you do one more? Yeah, super quiet. There you go. Now you're at my volume. Cool. Let me do this show on stream. Let me switch to the right scene. There we go. Whoa. I really don't like the Windows, like, you know, drag something to the top of the screen and then all of a sudden they want to, like, partition it for you. I wonder if I can turn that off.
I started using Rectangle.
So Rectangle is a Mac thing. I'm talking about on Windows.
I made the naive assumption that you were on OS X.
So I am on my dev machine, but my Windows machine is OBS because OBS works better on Windows. Like, it just does.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up. I'm gonna be building a new PC probably here soon because I gave my gaming PC to Justine.
Aw. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, she's played through it on like 3 characters now. I haven't even beat it once. So. Oh, you didn't beat it yet? Oh, I thought you beat it. Well, she's gotten a good part of the way through the game with 3 different characters.
Oh, damn. Yeah, so I've only gotten to Act 2, and I'm probably only halfway through Act 2. Yeah.
Same. I really want to play because I haven't been gripped by an RPG like that since like Oblivion back in the day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Remember feeling getting sucked into like an RPG like that was like Oblivion, and then there was like a year break, and then Shivering Isles, the expansion pack for Oblivion came out, and then I played a ton more.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never finished Oblivion. I don't know why. I was really hooked on Morrowind when it first came out, and yeah, I disappeared into that. I also, at one point, had a, like, you know, like, found a way to, like, hold down the walking on the controller with, like, a book or something, and I walked into a corner just outside someone's, like, scope or whatever, and it would, like, I got to, like, 100 stealth overnight. And then that made the game really easy, like, for sure.
Yeah, Morrowind and Oblivion are probably my 2 favorite RPG games of like all time, without a doubt.
Okay, cool. So hold on. I think I fixed the audio on YouTube stream now too. Go ahead and chat one more time real quick.
Test, 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 test.
Test, test. All right, cool. So yeah, I see the peaks about where I am. I did play Fable as well. Yeah, good stuff. Let me edit the titles real quick.
Why is that still installing? I was hoping, I don't know if you're familiar with the Dev Dad. I helped him
he's
set
great.
up. Yeah, love Dev Dad. I helped him set up. Well, actually, I'm going to be on a stream tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Actually, just a few short hours from now.
I know, right? Yikes.
Right? But we were helping him. He's working on transitioning over to Neovim full time. And the last piece that he wanted before he made the jump was a debugger. And like, I generally console log debug like all my stuff, or if I'm working in Node, I'll just attach to my process through Chrome. But he wanted the in-editor thing, and I've never used the DAP protocol before. It's probably redundant. That's probably like saying ATM machine. Whatever.
Yeah. I get that.
I've never used it before, so we spent like 2 hours figuring out how to get that all set up, and we're gonna help him get set up on it tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's some good content, and I love the collaboration stuff. Like, yeah, Dev Dad's great.
Same.
Okay, so let me head to my Twitch so I can see on my main screen, so I don't have to squint looking at my OBS screen. There is a slight small thing I added to the OCaml repo. Or not repo, but like folder, so you may need to pull in the latest, but it shouldn't have any conflicts.
All right, let me quit out of this since I just updated Neovim here.
Yep, take your time. Yeah, basically, for some context on what we added, it's for like the generation of our documentation.
So we aren't having Belka tomorrow.
Sorry, Justine was talking to me. What did you say, Chris?
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, I didn't want to cut her off anymore. I heard her speaking. So basically, it's about like documenting things, and there are some languages that have like a centralized documentation repository. For Rust, there's like docs.rs. For Elixir, there's hexdocs.pm. I think. I think Ruby. Hold on, let me look at my list. 1 second. For OCaml, right? Like OCaml has support for that within like their packages directory, right? There's like a tab that you click over for the docs there. Go has it, right? There's a way of publishing for that. Dart and Ruby also have one, which is cool. So basically, like at some point, if you're still down, it might be fun to like document this thing together so that we can publish up when we do that, right? So yeah,
that'd be great.
I think we've got at least like 3 or 4 streams to like, finish this thing up. So go ahead,
The
sir.
documentation, we have a tool called ODoc in OCaml.
Yep, I was looking exactly at that.
Yeah, it's really nice. The one thing that I wish we could do is use Markdown in our ODoc comments.
Oh.
I think we'll eventually get there. It's not bad as it is. It's actually like miles better than like anything we have in the TypeScript world.
Right.
But it like auto generates all the documentation, the symbol explorer, the code explorer, when you publish to OPAM based on your ODoc comments. It's really, really nice. And you can generate like a local site, like an HTML site with the documentation for your entire project, including your third-party dependencies. It's quite nice.
Awesome. Yeah. So Rust and Elixir are very much like that as well, which is just awesome. We were looking at some others like, on Packagist, which is a PHP thing. We looked at some libraries and realized that like their docs sites don't even like the links they have don't resolve anymore. The DNS is dead, right? So a centralized repository for documentation actually protects you from that, which is really cool.
How do I have a conflict in Astro files? Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? I didn't modify any of this.
Yeah. I don't know either. I would say, what's a good way of doing that? Yeah, merge abort for sure.
Let me check out upstream main. Why am I in I guess that makes sense, right?
So wait, wouldn't it be upstream space main?
Maybe. Doesn't look like it.
Never mind. Okay.
Let's see here. Let me go check out, what was the branch I'm on? OCaml client. Git rebase. Was it interactive main? These probably look fine. Let's just go for it. See what happens. Okay. Well, rebase worked. Merge did not. There you go, folks.
That is so strange. Okay.
Rebasing. I was like, up until, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I was like very adamantly against rebasing. Like,
yeah, because it's like a change of the history,
And then I started using Sapling, and Sapling made rebasing super easy, and I finally got my head around it by using Sapling. Okay. And now that I understand it, I've been converted to the rebase train.
So what is Sapling?
Sapling is basically the open sourcing of Facebook's, I'm not going to say this right, Mercurial.
Yeah, no, that was right. Yep.
It's like the CLI with it is like just phenomenal. Like the DX of using it is amazing. And it's really good in supporting a workflow where you stack PRs. And that's generally like how I work anyways.
Right.
Like I'll do a bunch of tiny PRs to keep it, small, isolated from my coworkers, and I'll like on GitHub, I'll do a thing where like I'll put an original PR up, and then I'll put a draft PR up into that PR. And once that's merged, like the draft PR becomes the head of the chain.
Yep.
So Sapling supports that workflow like natively out of the box, and
Okay.
has integration with Git and GitHub. So you can use Sapling in like any GitHub repository.
Interesting. Okay, so there's a
It's really
similar
cool.
thing. GitHub has a tool called Merge Trains, and I think GitLab has a separate thing now. But Graphite basically does their own version of it that you can apply to all sorts of stuff.
So Graphite is super inspired by Mercurial and Sapling, if I understand correctly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nifty. All right.
There's some like rough
I've done
edges
that
with Sapling CLI, but overall, it's pretty solid.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've dealt with that before where, like, at a previous job, there was someone who would have dependent PRs and, just you'd have to be really careful about approving certain ones first. But they still want you to look at the others,
That's why I keep the children PRs as draft until the parent gets merged.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like,
yeah,
there's like no risk for confusing situations like that.
Right. The pattern we had was just marking it as like work in progress instead, which is nice because we also used like the work in progress tag to prevent it from like doing extra CI/CD stuff.
Also smart. Yeah, GitHub tags are great.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about like GitHub Actions and all that, but like I've worked at places that have really, really slick integrations with like GitHub tags and GitHub Actions and stuff. And like when you work with a DevOps team that knows what they're doing, like it is so nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we were using Circle CI instead of GitHub Actions, but this was actually like wired up to the name of the PR. It was just like a thing you would put in the PR name, right? Work in progress or ready.
Nice.
That's awesome. I really liked some of the integrations they had. It was very clean.
I detest doing infra and DevOps work, but I have such a deep admiration for the people that love it and do it well. And like, it makes, when you work with a good DevOps team, like you can feel it like in your day-to-day work.
Because they actually care. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. You gotta go up to packages, right?
There's also when you have a bad DevOps team that's like, hey, all these dependencies, can we just not use those? No, dude, that's Angular. That's their dependencies, and we can't get rid of them, okay? Like, come on, man. So it gets a little tricky sometimes, but, it happens.
What do we use here? Bun, run, start. I should be able to do that.
Oh, are you using Bun?
I use Bun a lot. I don't think that actually started, though.
It should be Bun. I don't know. That does not look like it started.
Let me just make sure I ran the right thing. It looks like it did. Bun run should just call node under the covers because like Bun's got that weird API where like if you actually want to run it with Bun, you have to do bun run bun.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's like that.
Okay.
So stupid. But let me let's see here. Node env.
Huh.
Yeah, I actually don't know why that didn't work with Bun. That might be a bug. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so this project is mainly a PNPM project, and that could end up having issues. It shouldn't matter for the test server, but for other things that have dependencies upon the workspace, PNPM is actually what we're using.
Cool, gotcha. Yeah, I would expect if we're just invoking TS node, like everything should be fine, but whatever.
Yeah, super weird. All right.
I don't remember where we left it off.
I think we were writing tests.
Right, I need to go to OCaml, and we'll try run test. Okay, we've got a broken dependency. That's okay. So we have a probable, yeah, we've got a type error in our types file. So let's start there.
Yep. And it's for the value feature type now, right?
Right. All right. To do, let's move value type away from magic strings and constant on value type. I remember briefly having that conversation. So this type has, oh God. This expression is type YoJSON, safe.t, but an expression was expected of a list. So we're working on our selective feature, and the selective feature looks like has attributes, a value, and our selective value. Oh, right. Right. Okay, so we have to take a list and convert it into our variant.
Okay.
Here, string list, int list, or float list. And what do we do now? So we get this JSON coming off or into the function. We're going to look for feature IDs. We're pulling the attributes off, pulling the schedule off. That looks good. We pull the value off. Client.test. Is this where? Oh, no, it's going to be in that fixture file, right? That's where I can see like a example of our JSON.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so what does this end up looking like? So we got a feature selective. We have a value, an empty array. And this is going to be a...
Ooh, yeah, that's actually a bug where it said string and int together. I think.
This one right here?
No, it was up above. But remember that here we should be good. So, oh, yeah, no, that's actually a flaw.
Should I... So this is string. So this key shouldn't be here then?
So really, yeah, number type shouldn't have been in there, which is interesting. So that's a flaw in what I got, and I need to mark that down as a bug.
What's probably nice, though, is most of your JSON deserializers probably just ignore that field because I'm sure it's probably matching on the value type.
I think so, right? So it's probably ignoring it when I finally, like, get it eventually. But, yeah, let me just make a note.
Okay, so what do we need to do, right? So we have this number type field, and then we have a value field. And depending on the, I guess we have value type, number type, and value.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. And close that. So when we list.association list, how do we parse a list from YoJSON? That is a great question. Let's see if we can look at the API. Right, we want to get the... Yeah, okay, I see. Right, so list.association is like almost like a hash map. It's just tuples, two-member tuples.
Okay.
Where the left side is the key, the right side is the value, and then those two-member tuples are in a list of themselves.
Okay.
So that's what we call a association list or association map in OCaml. And it's used a lot like a hash map. So we should be able to say what we're doing above is we're looking for a key. So it's looking at the left side of the tuple for this key and then getting the value.
Right.
So we should theoretically be able to go to value here and then pass the list. And list should be, right, it doesn't know that it's a list yet. This is just going to be YoJSON. Yep. We're going to need a match on it. So yeah, there we go. So the YoJSON.safe.t type is going to be a variant where it's basically like string, number, float, like all the primitives in JSON, right?
Right.
And then you can like match on this structure to pull it out.
Okay.
So given that, we want to we need to check the value type first. Okay, string value.json. That's not quite what we want to do here. So what we need to do, right, is we need to pull out the value of value type from our association list. And we then need to match on the value type, which will be either, I think it's always going to be a string, right? But the value type will be, in fact, we can probably write this a little bit better. So let's actually comment this out. But the plan of attack here is going to be at a high level. We're going to check what the value of our string is, that being value type. If it's a string, we're going to attempt to parse this list as a string list, right?
Sure.
The number. Yep. We're going to then go and check, like we're doing here, figure out the actual number type, whether it's an int or float, and then we're going to try to parse the list. So maybe rather than returning these polymorphic variants with data, we just return the polymorphic variant themselves, and then we can match on that afterwards.
Sure.
So
okay.
we'll get back just float, int, or string, and then we can do a match down here. In fact, I actually don't know how that works yet. Oh, that would work perfect. Okay, check this out. Okay. I see where we're going. I've got a vision.
Yeah, no worries. I like it.
So we'll drop the JSON. Do that. And our return type should now just be float, int, or string. And then we should theoretically be able to say let at value equals match value type. I've got some ideas on how to improve this even more once we get through this, but
yeah.
Value type. It's not quite what we want, but this will be string, and we got to wrap that. And then it'll be close. Good. And good. All right, so value JSON is upset.
Yep.
Right, because it's not, this is expecting a float of YoJSON safe. It's a list. At this point, we don't know that this is actually a list. So how can we handle that? Let's go look at this function. So this is going to take, I wonder if we can,
if it was JavaScript or TypeScript, I would have said as unknown as blank and then be done with it. All right. Which is not great, but it works.
Listen, in the one library I'm writing, I do a lot of casting.
Okay.
Because so like I'm building a library in front of Melange's JavaScript runtime, and that entire library is generated and compiled, so there's no types with it, and there's no .d.ts.
Okay.
So I'm having to do a lot of casts because I'm writing my library in front of it in TypeScript.
Yep.
So as like a safeguard, I have just like, I don't know, close to 120 tests, and I'm using fast checks, so I actually get like 20,000 tests for free out of it.
Yep.
So
nice. Would like a Zod validator in front of it help?
I thought about doing something like that, but the good thing is like I know what the underlying source is, so like as long as my tests are good, my casts should be pretty safe without introducing any runtime overhead. Like I have like a really, really comprehensive test suite.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
So when we get this, we almost need to match on this again. Like in here, it almost needs to be like association. I'm going to actually, let's before I rewrite some code that is half decent, let's yoink that and write like a v2 version of this so we can keep our reference above. And then, so my idea here is rather than this being a list, we want it to come in as an association list, I think. Basically like this right here. Actually, that's not quite right. I need to go look at the JSON save T variant. Why did that take me here? That is not the right place.
Yeah, the S expression lib? That's weird.
Yeah, that's not where we want to be at all.
Yeah.
That was weird. Okay, but we'll go to OCaml and we'll go look at JSON. This is not the right site. We'll look for JSON. Docs. On the latest, JSON. Go to safe.
Yeah, real quick. Blind Kamikaze. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, welcome. dmmulroy is teaching us a lot about OCaml. I am very unknowledgeable about it, but I do see patterns that remind me of other languages I am somewhat knowledgeable about, which is cool.
So we have this list of T list. That's what we want to pattern match on.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we we could go one step further down here potentially. Let's rather than calling to this function to start, let's just do this all in line and then we'll kind of decompose it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down.
So let's start with fail with to do. And now here, we want to match value JSON with, it should be a list. In fact, we could do the list above, now that I think about this. We could fail earlier. So let's throw that here as well. And up here, we could pass this to, I wonder if YoJSON has anything for us. Safe dot util dot to list.
Oh.
JSON, that looks good. I wonder if this raises an exception though. Feels like it probably would, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
So what was the name of that function we were just looking at? Util. So let's go check the util module, and then we're looking at toList. Extract a list. Yeah, raises a type error. So what we can do is we can wrap that. Oh, do we have a toList option? To int option to list. Oh, come on.
There isn't a toList option. That is weak. How dare they?
So, yeah, we've talked about this before, but Leo is working on writing Serde for OCaml, and he just did a huge amount of work in the past couple days on it, and it's getting ready to be like production ready, and I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a good dude. Like, yeah, he's really cool. He lurks around, he chills, he hangs out. Like, yeah, I like.
He's like
that involved.
He's like the epitome of someone who like. There's quite a few people in like the OCaml ecosystem that like just go so far above and beyond to like improve the ecosystem, and like him and like a couple people in the Melange team, Sabine, like they all just do wonders for the community and the ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the biggest things like a language can do. Like see some of the most successful libraries in other languages and just recreate it in yours. Right? Like, yep, that's genius.
Exactly. So up here, we're going to have to, you can pattern match on exceptions, which makes them a lot nicer than like, typical exceptions. So what we can do here is we can use a try and and we can match on our exception, which will be some sort of type error that we just don't care about.
Right. So technically, real quick, like, the catch in any like sane language is actually already pattern matching on the exception, right? But JavaScript doesn't have anything like that. Every exception gets caught, right? But that's like the magic of like C# or Java or a bunch of languages that do exceptions, right? You can like really just catch the one exception you're looking for.
Yeah, you can statically type your exceptions. Like you can look at a function definition and know like, hey, this function's gonna throw. And in JavaScript, you're just like, I don't know, dog, good luck. Better hope this third-party library doesn't do something you don't expect.
We're just gonna catch it and deal with whatever we see, right? But yeah, like instead in like a sane language that does exceptions, right? Like really, if you're only catching the one exception type, every other exception type just bubbles up. And that's like really useful, actually.
We want to return an error. Valid value type. Sure. Yeah, that looks right. And this will actually, you have to pipe this to a result then, I suppose. This will go into result.ok. And this becomes a result. Great. And we can unbox out that @ sign. And now we need an in. Okay, so now we should have a YoJSON safe TList, which means we can actually use this function. I think.
So I wonder if like some of that stuff we're doing could be put in that function, right?
So this one, you're going to want to match on most likely a single value field. So you're going to want to, when you write these deserialize functions, this should be deserializing specifically the value field.
Right.
So like one thing we could do, and like also these the deserialize functions in JSON always just take one argument as their as their argument.
Right.
So I think what we have is pretty much as good as we can do.
Really?
Right. So
okay.
we'll either pass in a float list. Like this should be good. I'll show you what I'm thinking here.
Yeah. Makes sense. What I was mainly getting at was like the check of if it's even a list could theoretically just be like part of that, right? But maybe not.
I see. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
We don't have to. I was just thinking out loud like that's an eventual refactor maybe.
Selective of JSON selected value. So what would that end up looking like? Let's play with that idea for a second here.
Sure. Yeah. It was just me thinking out loud, like, you know. I'm not sure it's the right approach, but yeah, it made sense in my head.
So if we did that, we would get JSON that we have no idea about, and we would assume that it was a list. And then we would say this would be an error. Just say fail with. And now.
Real quick, let me shout out some follows. Hold on. So John CL and Cricket Channel. Thank y'all for the follows. Welcome.
Should be an A. Let me double check our docs again here. Get a list of T, which is going to be a JSON T. So we could even go a step further potentially and do, I don't know if we can do this, but we're going to try. Say we did that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. And real quick, Cricket Channel. So we're watching someone else doing the heavy coding. We're just chiming in from the balcony, right? From the peanut gallery here.
I'm trying to think if we can do another level of pattern matching here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like it would just be.
So we get a list, and we know a list has to be of one type. Seems even though so ahead, and OCaml has got to be a humble guy in the top. I am not a top 100 OCaml programmer by far. Not even close, blind. I am very much an intermediate OCaml dev. Like the people I worked with at Scalum are very talented OCaml devs. Leo Stera, who's a streamer, is a very talented OCaml dev. Sabine, she's great. There's a lot of very talented people. I've only been writing OCaml for like a year and a bit now.
Dylan, you're amazing. Gas yourself up more.
We heard that.
I'll gas myself up on TypeScript and JavaScript. I know a lot more than I wish I knew about TypeScript and JavaScript.
There you go.
I consider myself an expert there, but very much still working my way up the OCaml food chain.
Right, and I think that's the best way to think about it, right? If you think you're an expert, you're probably missing some stuff, right? Even people who are experts probably don't consider themselves experts most of the time.
Yep. Let's see. I want to kind of go ask ChatGPT about this.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, chat, if you do have interest in learning OCaml, you can go to ocaml.ai, I think.
Oh,
I've
never heard of that.
Actually, this is a error message from Dune, our build tool. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit to pass over and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. We have an error message about types in our build tool when it fails catastrophically, which is not often.
Okay.
That is a play on this.
Yeah.
But
That's from Dune, if everyone doesn't know. Yeah. That's like the Mentats motto. Or no, hold on. No. That's what the main dude says, right? As he's experiencing the pain. What's the Mentat motto? I like that one.
We should
I'm trying to remember it. There's a movie called The Grand in which they there's a character played by I'm gonna forget his name, who Chris Parnell, who he is on the spectrum and he's really into Dune, and he says the Mentat motto multiple times in the film. By will alone, I put my mind in motion. There you go. It's something like that.
I've never read the books, which I would like to do at some point, but the movie was amazing, and I am so excited for the second.
Oh, so you mean the recent one? Okay, yeah. I remember David Lynch's Dune. That's how old I am.
There was another movie.
Oh yeah, it's like the original bad Dune, where Kyle MacLachlan plays the main character, like Atreides, whatever.
Have you seen the new one?
I have not.
I feel like you watch Oh, you haven't?
I don't see anything new, right? Because I don't get enough time to watch stuff unless it's on Tubi.
Man, I'm about to just send you my login to HBO so you can watch it. It is.
I know, I need to watch it, but again, it's not about having access. It's more about the time that I have to watch movies is typically only on Gaming Stream.
That's fair. Man, the new Dune is probably in my top 5 of movies.
Really?
Of all time. It is very good. Also, I mean, I've been given feedback by multiple people in my life that I am easily pleased by movies. So take that with a grain of salt.
There's a thing to it, right? You can be overly critical in some ways, and then you miss enjoying things, So the Hitchhiker's Guide film. Yes, I'm a massive fan of the Hitchhiker's books. And the film really left me wanting. And because they blew it, they'll never get sequels for it.
Hold on, he's talking.
Oh. No, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, what's this thing?
Okay, but speaking of Dune, the Alma released earlier today some early dates. So we could go see Dune on the 29th if you wanted to. 7 p.m. Where would you like to sit?
This is important. This is nice.
In the very, very back?
The second. Well, yeah, I don't care. Very back's fine.
Do you want to be
No, dude, what? Did you just pick the seats on the side? Sit us dead center. What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Dead center.
Okay, but what about there?
No.
Side seats are good for people that maybe want to go to the restroom at some point.
I don't want to sit by other people.
Put it dead center. Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah, do that. Ship it.
Ship it. No, that was awesome. That was adorable. Yeah, that was great.
So we have this thing called OCaml Genie, which is just a custom GPT that is seeded with all of the, I'm not sure if it's the code or I think it's the documentation from OPAM. So for every single published OCaml library, it's seeded with basically
from the docs tab right there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes.
So it has the context on the entire OCaml ecosystem, and it makes it pretty effective at giving you answers for OCaml code.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really, really cool. I think more languages would benefit from a focused GPT.
I told Leo that he should turn that into like a little mini SaaS tool. Like, spend $20 and like seed some library, like ecosystems documentation.
Yep. Yeah, genius.
All right. We have list element, string to string in a float, similar to what we're looking for. From string, parse JSON, sure, we already got that. Recursive to list, okay. Elements, we map. Okay. Does that guarantee we get an element with the same type though? Oh, because it's wrapping it with a variant. Okay.
Okay, so the
Don't
list
do that.
element type, that's like our variant already, right? String of string, int of int, float of float. But
yeah, so
it doesn't have the list part.
Problem with this here is that this would make a heterogeneous list, or a list that has the potential for having multiple types in it, right? The type would be list element, but then we would have like, you could have a list, a single list that has a string of string, an int of int, and a float of float all in it together. Whereas we want a completely homogeneous list where it's just like all ints, all floats, all strings.
Oh, so this actually supports like mixed lists. Oh.
Yeah, you can use variants to get mixed lists in, because like this list element type is one type, but it's a variant that has 3 members to it, right? So we can have a list of list elements, and that each individual member of that list could be a string of a string or an int of an int. So that's how you can get a list with different types in it. Where like in the TypeScript world, like it's kind of just inherent that you can have like these dynamic lists where like index 0 is a string and index 1 is an object with some keys on it.
Right, like you still have to have like your union type, like joining those things, but still like totally doable.
It's really, really hard to get lists of a single type in TypeScript. It's like stupid hard. This is actually a problem. Actually, let me show you this quick.
Really?
While we're on this topic.
So I mean, you can cast it however you feel, but yeah, I think I get what you're saying.
If you, let's say you want to constrain a function to operate on a list of only numbers. In fact, if we have like TypeScript devs in the chat, like I would encourage you to go try to write a function that accepts a list of exclusively ints or numbers, I guess. It is very, very difficult to do. Let's see.
So
here.
that's almost why you'd want like a runtime validator, right? Like Zod to actually check that.
I jumped through some hoops, and I worked with Trash Dev, and I worked with David Vlas, the guy behind Archetype. I don't know if you've seen Archetype yet. It's kind of a competitor to Zod.
Oh, I've definitely seen. Yeah, he was actually in this stream at one point shouting out Archetype like a year ago or something.
He is great. He's brilliant. He's super kind. He's got a lot of good ideas. Definitely encourage chat to check it out. He's doing really cool stuff. In fact, he's kind of implementing what Elixir is doing with their type system, but like he's almost built like his own type system inside TypeScript for Archetype, using like this concept of set theoretic types, which is why like his Archetype is like way more performant and trustworthy than Zod. But that's besides the point.
Super cool.
I worked with him in Trash to kind of get this ironed out, but this is how you have to get an array of a single type. Basically from here up, it's chaos. Like it should not be that hard.
Right, yeah. Huh. Very cool. And yeah, what wine are you drinking on right now? That looks delicious.
I am drinking Francis Capalla's, let's see here. Francis Capalla wine. Diamond collection. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, this guy right here.
Oh, Coppola. No. Is it Coppola or Coppola? I don't know.
I actually don't know if we're being this one right here.
Okay.
This is my favorite wine, without a doubt. It is so good. If you like red wine and Kapsov, highly recommend.
Cool. Okay. Nifty.
And it looks fancy, so it's great for gift giving. It's only $20.
Right. Yeah. That's like hugely valuable.
So if you're a red wine person, check it out, chat. Very good.
I used to really like the story around $2 Chuck, but I found out that story is actually a lie, and now I'm really bummed.
Is that the Trader Joe wine?
I think so. Basically, the story that was told was like, yeah, the dude had a wine company, and in the divorce, the wife got all the profit from the wine company, so the dude just made the wine cost what it cost to make, and then there was no profit, so like he didn't, like, you know, no money to his alimony or whatever. But that's actually a lie. It's not even a thing anymore. So I'm really sad.
We have a question here from Zgrad Fred. How is it different from T? So if you're saying that like you just want a variable to be a type of, I don't know, let's just say a number array, right? We can say that number array, number R, and we can say num, yeah, we can say number this. We can constrain that properly here, right? You'd be like, okay, I can't put a string in here. It's going to be mad, right? But as soon as you want to have a function that you want to constrain and say, I only want to take a number, or I generically want to take an array of a single type, that's where things get really, really hard. So an example of this is, do I have this open in another, whatever, well, I did it anyways. So something like right here, of array. Getting this to type check correctly is super, super difficult. In fact, we can probably jump into TS Playground and I can demonstrate what TypeScript's type system will end up doing is it will union together the types that you pass in. So it's really hard to constrain. And I'm probably not like doing justice on this explanation because I don't have like a huge background in type theory, but
no, it's still like, you know, you get better as you try to explain it. Like, this is just practice. Like, yeah.
So
perfect.
Let's just say we don't have a list, right? Let's just say this is going to be a T. Let's just even use array of T, and this will return an array of T, and we'll just like map over the array, or we'll just return the array. Like that's probably kosher. So let's just say we have this X and we want to say of array, and we pass in like foo bar. At this point, like we clearly want to be operating on a string array, but let's say we throw a 1 in. The type system is automatically going to union those together, and adding that layer of constraint is really, really difficult. And the best way that I could find after like a day or two of playing with this is adding these types. So we come in, we can add this.
Before we get too far, 1 is the loneliest number in that case. I had to do it. All right.
1 is the loneliest number.
Yep.
So John NCL is saying that, sure, we could provide an annotation and fill in the type ourselves, and yes, that would work, right? It's going to be like, oh no, this is not assignable to number, but like we want to use TypeScript's inference. Like that is something that is touted as a really great feature of TypeScript, is its inference. So like we want to be able to use its like polymetric inference, right? So to do this, we can come in here and instead say array of now. And now we should get a type error. Now we're going to get a type error saying, oh, this is, well, let's say that. It's just not going to let us do it, right? So basically, this is how we constrain the type system to only let you pass in one type or another. So yeah, that was a fun little tangent there on TypeScript.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. So I get it, right? Like that type system is tough.
But we did figure it out. Sure enough.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool that you had to you just had to chat with these really influential people. Oh, bummer. Yeah. Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, exactly. Darn it, had to talk to some people way smarter than me and learn some stuff.
Shucks.
Darn.
Yeah, it's good.
This type right here is still magic to me. How this works. Yeah, I don't even think I could explain it.
Yeah. No, yeah, it works for me. I like it.
Where was ChatGPT? Right. So I think what we can potentially do is we get our elements. We're going to do something super similar. And let's get a new block scope here. And we'll say list, let's get let first, we can even just say head, equals, should be typed as a list. This should be a YoJSON, like a type, safe.t list. So we should be able to do list.head of elements in. Perfect.
Find it weird that they do head as just HD.
Yeah. And this can return a failure too. So we could pattern match again. So this might be the way to do it. So we could do head, and then what is the syntax for tail? So just tail. Is that how we do that? As elements.
Oh, HD and TL? Oh my.
There, we'll spell it out.
Oh, okay. So that's that was just something that you could do. It's not required.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
we can say that this at least has one element. We can get the head.
So John, the language is OCaml. And if you're unfamiliar, OCaml was the original language that the Rust compiler was written in.
Yep.
It is garbage collected rather than statically memory managed, but still, as a compiler, that's fine. Who cares?
And in fact, we are probably in the next year or two getting opt-out garbage collection and having some features similar to Rust. So we get things like locality and basically having areas of your code where you can have pure stack allocation rather than heap allocation. And
okay. And when you say locality, is that similar to the borrow checker, or is that different?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool.
It's going to feel a lot like writing Rust in the places where you opt into that functionality.
Right. Making it an opt-in is huge, right? That's amazing, because the rest of your app could still be garbage collected, and then a subset could be basically Go's memory arenas, very cool.
Yep, precisely. Jane Street has some good videos on YouTube about how that's going to work. They're already using it in production, and they're one of the most successful quant trading firms.
That's quantitative, not quantum.
Quantitative. There we go. Thank you.
Very different, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was like, quantum doesn't really make sense, but I don't know what the word was, but thank you.
Yeah. So like in for everyone else out there in like Wall Street and like other places, even if you watch the movie The Big Short, there's a part where Ryan Gosling points out his quant. That's his quantitative analyst, right? Someone who crunches the numbers for him, basically. But quant is like the short for it. Yeah, and I'm sorry for derailing things. Like, we don't have to abstract out to this function. That's fine. If it's getting in our way, like, you know.
I think this is actually going to end up looking kind of like Elixir when I get done with this.
I like the sound of that. Ryan Winchester isn't even here right now, and he actually just felt really good for no reason.
Yeah, somewhere he was like, oh, Dylan was... I gave Ryan Winchester a really nice compliment today in Spiro's stream. Have you seen what he's doing with Spiro with like the Twitch integration and stuff?
No, I haven't.
So Ryan is building like this Elixir OTP server where it's going to allow multiple Twitch streamers and their respective chats to play games cross stream. It's bananas. It's really freaking cool. And Leo's working on some stuff for adding like overlays with like game controls. Like I think it has the potential, the three of them working on this, to like change how chat interacts with Twitch, like going forward, like across all categories.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. Like, no offense, but it reminded me, like, when you said it, like, Ghostbusters never cross the streams. Well, yeah, in this case, we cross the streams, okay?
Oh, yeah. They're crossing streams hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there has been stream jokes made, but there's been a lot of stream jokes made.
Okay, nice. Awesome. So that, like, obviously, I'm, like, the one who jumps into my stream and makes a comment about the tabs or something, right? So, like, yeah, that's the joke I would have made that he's heard 1,000 times and he's tired of it. He timed me out because of it.
No, it's great every time. Let's be clear.
Nice.
Yeah, it's super cool. I think what they're working on, like I said, like I think if they get the experience they're shooting for, I think when streamers from other categories see what they're doing, like people are gonna want it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Super, super cool. One thing that Leo is trying to work on is for the software and development category is putting like an overlay. I forget what the name of the Twitch like application add-ons are, but basically
extensions.
If you're a person watching someone live stream, right, and their code editor is up, let's say chat's just like looking at this, they could come click on the video screen on like this deserialized selected value list, and on their screen they would get the hover docs for it, right?
Ooh, that's amazing.
Stuff like that is what like they're kind of shooting for. So it
really
could be
cool.
Really, right?
Wow.
It's like engaging chat in like a whole nother level as a viewer.
Yeah, so you mentioned Baldur's Gate earlier. They have the best like game like Twitch extension I've ever seen. You just change your stream to Baldur's Gate and enable the extension, and then all of a sudden people can just click a thing on your screen to see what items everyone has and like what your inventory is and all sorts of stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super excited for where they're going with that, and a lot of the underlying foundation is built on like Elixir from Ryan Winchester.
Amazing.
And it's like a huge testament to like OTP and like the concurrency model that it has.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Here, I think we can do something like this. And my plan here is I think we can go like a step further and like destructure here. So like we could just have 3 destructures where we pluck off like int, float, and string.
Mm-hmm.
But we can do this first. This will be int value, and then this will be float value. And let's just fail with to do.
Oh, and that arrow above is broken because the syntax was broken, right?
Which...
So basically, like, after int value, the ligature didn't actually render properly until you added the fail with.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that was interesting to me.
All right, so what is our issue here? We go here, we get value. This is gonna end up being A because it has no idea, which is fair.
So I'm gonna let you keep chatting about this as you work through it. I need to use the restroom and pour some more water, and I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Cool. BRB.
Okay, there we go. So when we match on head, why is that not matching on that variable there? I guess we just return string, or we return int, and then here, float. Okay. Okay, we're getting there.
Okay, so I'm back. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, good.
All right, so it seems like what we're doing right now is mapping out like the OK value and the conversion thing, right? So we still got the original method if we want to abandon this approach, just in case. But the new one, I kind of like what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, I just have to figure out the right way to do this here.
Oh, and I totally get what's going on right now. So basically, you look at the first element in the list, you check its type, and then assume that the rest of the list is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, that
Cool.
is the idea, I
Right?
think.
And whether it works or not, I think this is a great experiment. I think we all
Problem
benefit.
is,
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think potentially the problem could be that that's not necessarily guaranteed.
Right. I think the bigger thing to recognize is that if it's not that way, it's actually a flaw of our schema, right? Of like what we output. And if a user wants to like manually modify what they're doing, that's kind of on them. Right? Like, you can't solve every edge case, and the edge case of someone manually creating their schema file or flag file rather than using a tool that would guarantee these things, I'm less keen on needing to support that.
How could we, I think I have an idea that we could do it in a safer way.
Sure.
Jeez.
I'm okay with some assumptions that the JSON is generated properly. Like, that's not a problem for me.
Yeah, so that's still assuming we can have a list of multiple types, which gets us closer, but not where we want to be exactly.
Right, but that will never happen with what we're doing, right? Because we kind of control the ecosystem. If a user wants to shoot themselves in the foot, that's on them.
The problem is the type system won't let us.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So we can work around this. I think we can work around this by doing something like...
At some point, should we be cursing the Hindley Milner name?
Never.
Okay, never mind.
Never.
We're good. We're good.
Expected type. And then we can take our...
I like how I remembered the name properly this time instead of calling it the Diffie-Hellman, which is totally different. Totally different. Not even related. Diffie-Hellman is another algorithm. I forget what it is specifically, but yeah. I've mixed up Hindley Milner and Diffie-Hellman multiple times. So much so that I think about it in the shower every once in a while.
I think we can match on expected type.
Yeah, Diffie-Hellman is a crypto thing. Right? Like cryptography, not like, crypto coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So if we match on expected type and the JSON, we can say we'll have a string and a list. And then we'll just say elements. And we'll fail with just a... float. And then here we can do essentially, I think, exactly this.
Ooh, not quite.
And what's that upset about? This expression is type list of A. I was expecting a yo JSON. Why does it think it's that? If we destructure it, it should be a list of yo JSON T elements. What if we annotate it and help it out? Oh, because it's not, I see what I did. I passed in the wrong variable.
Oh.
JSON, it's elements. There we go.
Got it.
So I think
that looks pretty
this has
good.
the potential to work well just by passing in that second attribute and matching on it. We probably want to wrap this with a try with and return. This already returns a result anyways, so
sure,
that will work out decently well, I think.
Okay, cool.
In fact, we just like that one. I am so good at typing. Okay, So we can go here, try, and then throw in with, and we'll get, we don't care what the error is in this case. Say error invalid value type.
Yep.
And then we can delete that and delete the v2, and that should deserialize. Down here now, we can get rid of that whole big block of stuff. And we can say deserialize. Or actually, there was a bit of that we actually wanted. We wanted this bit. Right, we have to figure out like, hey, are we gonna get a int, a float, or a string?
Okay, yep.
I1 type is number, sure. Int, float. What is this mad about? This pattern matches type question mark. I don't know if I've ever seen that question mark. The pattern was expected, which matches values of type. Yo, JSON list. Where is it expecting a list? Maybe down here. Right, this should be it's going to be a string. So it's going to be a literal. Oh no, we need to map. We need to get number type then, right?
Right. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yep.
Right. So let's just undo that. We need to break out that. So then we say let number type, which will be a result, equals list dot association. So this is going to be similar to like map.get. And we'll want number type, if I recall.
Yep, for sure.
That's going to give us back
either int or float.
And we can match on number type. And we'll have a string, and we can match on the literal value, which will be int. And we can return int. And we can match on string of float, return float.
Yep.
And in the catch all, we can say we have a invalid number type.
Mm-hmm.
Right, have to return a result. Oh, right, because we didn't pass the JSON to it.
And yeah, interestingly, like in the TypeScript version of this, I end up doing a lot of this like pattern matching within the should function type stuff, right? Whereas it seems like we might not even need to do that because you have like the actual types for these that you could match on elsewhere.
Sorry, what did I didn't, I was like
No. Yeah. You were like deep in it. I'm just thinking out loud. So basically, like in my should function for the TypeScript or the Go or whatever, I'm like diving into if it's a selective, then I look at the various types and then I call the right method for it or whatever, right? Whereas instead, it seems like we might not even necessarily need that anymore, like in our should functions, because we could just map upon the types
type.
we get this way, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand it a little bit better.
Like this kind of pattern matching is like magical in my opinion. Like it might not be super obvious what's happening here, especially to chat and who's not familiar with like OCaml, but what we're effectively doing here is we're pulling a value off a JSON object, right? So we're saying pull the number type, look in the JSON struct for a key value pair where the key is number type, give me the value. Then we're matching on the number type. And not only are we matching on the type, but we're also matching on like the primitive value inside the type. So like we're matching like at runtime on types and primitive values all in the same statement. Like that's like incredibly powerful in my opinion. And like once you start using this in practice, going back to like a switch statement or even what the JavaScript pattern matching proposal in CC39 is, like it's not the same. Like when you get used to like this kind of power, like it's amazing. All right, I'm done recording my macro. I'm so sorry.
He's saying it to Cotter for some reason, which I think is weird. That part's a little trickier. I don't understand what you mean there, Bet, but I get it. It's fine. That might have been it. You just tagged the wrong person. I get it. That's possible. But yeah, like basically, you could start matching upon only the type and not like the props within the structure, right? Within like the consuming functions.
I learned in OCaml today, like literally this morning, that you can pattern match on records too. Where we have like a little book club in our Discord where we're reading the Essentials of Compilation, which is like just a book that teaches you about writing like compilers. And it's pretty friendly. And the book starts you off with, it basically just hands you an AST already, so you don't have to worry about writing like lexers and parsers for every language that you build compilers to throughout the book. But like I've never built a lexer or a parser, so I
me either.
Thorsten Ball's writing an interpreter in Go, and I've been translating some of that to OCaml. And I learned today, where is it, that you can pattern match on, I think it's in my parser. I thought this was like one of the coolest things ever here.
PM Waltz chimes in. He's reading that right now, like along with us as like a podcast, I bet, right? Which is awesome.
So good. Thorsten's a great author. Do I do that in this file? Doesn't look like this is the file. Maybe it's in my Lexer.
Hell yeah, PM Walls. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. For everyone else out there, I got to meet PM Walls out at React Summit, and that was awesome. He's a super chill, cool dude.
PM Walls helped me translate Matt Pocock's pretty TypeScript errors to Lua, and is in a Neovim plugin.
Hell yeah.
A ton of work by him. So,
yeah, for sure, man.
Shout out.
Big shout out. Hell yeah, PM Walls. Cheers to you.
Maybe it wasn't in
Facts. Right? Yeah. Dude, good job doing like the Zoomer like terminology, right? You even spelt it like fancy, right? I like that. Facts.
I actually don't know where I did this. I'm going to look in one more file, and if I don't find it, it's going to be whatever. I swear it was this function. I guess not. I don't know. Either way, you can pattern match on individual fields of a record, and it like is super cool. Long story short. All right, back here, we have our number type, and what do we want to do with that number type? We want to pass that to fact. We could even just pass this rather than returning a result here. We could say deserialize value, and our expected type is going to be a you gotta go back. That will those, and this will be an int, and then this gets our value JSON. I think. Does this return a result? It does. Float, int, or string. So let's try to do the same thing here. Paste that. And this will be a float. And then up here, we'll do the same thing again. And
Right.
rather than returning okay string.
Wait, so interesting. Can't you just pattern match on like match deserialized selective value list expected type? Instead of just match number type?
We say that again?
So hold on. Yeah, I guess I'm wondering like, why do we need to repeat the deserialized selective value list? I guess the colon there is the important part, right? Like, is there no way to match upon that? No, never mind. Well, like, what we're doing with number type is matching upon the string. Never mind. I misunderstood. Sorry. Wrong.
Okay.
Bad thread.
The other option we could do is like we could just return this polymorphic variant out and then like call that variable expected type and call it once, but
I don't think it's worth that abstraction yet.
Vertical space.
Exactly. I think we're fine. Yeah, my bad. I was just misunderstanding. I saw the duplication of deserialized selective value list, and my brain immediately thought, well, do we need to? But we do. And yeah, sometimes that's fine.
Okay, so here is what's nice too, is we've already done the check on the outside. Look at that. We are type checked. We just have warnings for unused variables.
That's amazing.
So this is definitely like a lot of like this. I think we talked about this last time. Like a lot of this can be abstracted because we do this for each feature type.
Right.
Like a lot of this could be cleaned up, like a lot. Like we basically brute force this, but it works. And it's like fairly dynamic JSON too.
Yeah.
Which we are now parsing to completely type safe OCaml types and handling it without raising any exceptions because we're wrapping everything in results.
Yep. Yeah,
This
like in the
works
Go
out
code
pretty
and
nice.
in, I think, even the Python code, I had to just write like a serializer function to use like the underlying like raw data types from like the like Pydantic or like Ghost thing, right? So the fact that this is all fully like type safe is really cool.
There it is.
Yeah, this is
It's
awesome.
a lot of vertical text and smashed together and kind of hard to read, but it's there.
I don't think
As
it's
soon
that
as you-
bad, right?
We could decompose it down into tiny functions, but yeah, like I mean, JSON parsing is never going to be glamorous.
It
no matter
isn't.
where you do it, except for in a dynamic language like JavaScript. where
Right,
we have
yeah.
JSON that parse.
For sure. Like the Go code I've done that with is gross, right? And
Oh,
I'm
no.
trying to remember the other languages that just sucked. But yeah, like having to write your own like deserializer function that uses their like primitive types is always like the worst case scenario.
Lightspeed. This
Nice,
is the
Lightspeed.
first I've got. What's funny is like my hair is like, I don't know if my hair is going to be all over the place from wearing this hat, but I have like this exact haircut.
Oh, really? That's amazing. Chlorophyll, more like borophyll.
Hey, there we go. There's me.
That's amazing.
That's so funny. That's the first I've ever gotten that.
That's legit.
randomly like a lot. And I don't like super see it, but I get Kevin Bacon a lot.
Wait, really? I don't see it. Yeah, not at all. I don't see the Kevin Bacon. I could definitely like think about some actors, sure. I'd have to put some effort into
The other
it.
one that I get that I absolutely detest is Kevin McCarthy. People tell me I'm gonna look like Kevin McCarthy when I'm old, and I just like I want to cry.
Oh, that's a bummer. Oh,
It's a huge
brutal.
bummer. If you have the views I hold, it's a huge bummer.
Yeah, that's a massive bummer. Ugh.
Yeah, one of my good buddies works as a Senate staffer on the Hill, and he fucking sends me shit all the time. He'll walk past
Brutal.
him in the halls of Congress and just send me a picture. I'm like, "You're a dick. I hate you."
So wait, Shaka brah. Sorry, I know how to pronounce your name because I'm a snowboarder, like Shaka brah. But yeah, like Panda Bear. I've not gotten a Panda Bear reference ever. I don't even know what the people in the band Panda Bear even look like. No idea. Huh? That's new to me. Yeah, Animal Collective is great. I didn't know. Oh my god. Wait, the guy in Panda Bear is from Animal Collective? I love Animal Collective. I had no idea Panda Bear was even associated.
Is that a band?
They're musicians. Yeah, they're musicians. Animal Collective has some really good songs. That song, My Girls, or maybe it's just Girls, is really good. Like, I would say check out that song Girls by Animal Collective. Amazing. I play it on my stream.
Is it this one?
I think it's My Girls. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, I'll play it in the morning. I'll keep
for sure. I think it's really fun. I really like it.
Yeah.
So Panda Bear is the guy. Animal Collective is the band. I've heard of Panda Bear like separately and heard some of their music before. I didn't realize Panda Bear was actually a person. I thought it was just another band. So, all right then. Huh. Learn something new every day.
Okay, we're building. I'm just going to do a commit here and say selective value survey, or I guess it's just deserialization.
Right, yep. Yeah, you can say Saturday, like shout it out. I don't mind.
And okay, so we should be able to jump to our test. And down here, I think we have one for selective. Yeah. Do we go the whole way? So we say fetch hook, selective. Okay. We are failing. What's this? It's a unit. So no matter what, we're failing here. How do we do this? I think I was just using this block as debugging.
Probably.
Yeah, I was. So then we're saying should selective is okay rather than an error, which should be a bool. Selective group should not be an error. Okay, let's do it.
Will it blend?
Think about how much code we just wrote with dynamic ass values, and it just worked.
Hell yeah. That's science.
One of the, I mean, I'm sure you have the same experience with like Rust and stuff. Like once you get the type checker happy, like 8 times out of 10, that's a bad fraction, but it's gonna work. Generally.
Yeah. That's actually my opinion of Rust. If it compiles, you're good to go. Like, for the most part, like, if it compiles, you're set. Like, it's not a 100% thing, but it's, like, so accurate as a phrase that, like, nah, you're good. Like, just,
That's like, that's part of the beauty of really nice type systems.
Mm-hmm.
Once you learn them, is you can slowly start modeling your types to prevent invariance. And then you can almost use your type system. If you approach tackling your problems from the types first, you can prevent like a whole class of even like business logic bugs at the type level.
Yeah.
There's actually a really like the best blog post I've probably read in the past. I don't know. It's probably the most influential blog post I've read in like the past 5 years.
Sure.
Types as axioms or playing God with static types. If you follow or have seen Well Typed Witch on Twitter, she shared this with me.
I don't.
And
I need to follow that account. That sounds amazing.
She is like a type theorist guru. She's awesome. And every time she tweets or engages with somebody, it is hella informational. And yeah, they are
Cool.
awesome.
Nice.
But
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Highly recommend reading this article. It like captures the entire. It's such a hard thing to explain to somebody. Like if you were to try to explain the beauty of Rust type system and like what you just said, like if you write it and it compiles, it works, right? It's so hard to explain that feeling and that kind of developer experience to somebody who only knows a type system like TypeScript or Java or C# or something, where it's just you have to wrestle with the type system. And like you have to wrestle with Rust, but that's the borrow checker, not so much the type system.
So I feel like I've gotten similar safety from C#. I'm curious, like when you've dealt with C# not being as robust.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't written a ton of C#.
Okay.
My impression of C#, I'm comparing it to Java. I've written I've written a fair amount of Java.
Okay.
So I'm comparing it to that, but like Java doesn't. I guess Java has a little bit of type inference now, but like, when you have a good type system and it doesn't fight you, and you don't have to do things like we showed on stream earlier with the crazy like this sort of thing. And this is even like a tame example of like some of the crazy shit you can jump into in TypeScript.
Right.
And having it just work and be able to model the solutions to your problems at the type level. Yeah, just that's what I'm trying to teach on my stream is like there are so much better type systems than TypeScript. And even though I love TypeScript and I consider that to be like my strongest programming language, like it can be better.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, I've never dealt with Java being that bad either. When I wrote some Kotlin recently, it seemed to actually catch a bunch of errors that I hadn't caught yet, like even with the Rust and the Go. So I'm curious how like the Java fails a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't written Java for quite a while, but my impression I get is it's similar. I would say Java's type system is much better than TypeScript because it's nominal and sound.
Yep. Exactly. That's a good term. Nominal versus structural, right? That's a very important like distinction there. So I watched a Matt Pocock video in which he talked about nominal typing versus structural typing. And that's why enums are bad in TypeScript because they're almost like nominally typed rather than like structurally typed.
In that library I showed earlier, I am essentially faking or hacking nominal types. Let me show you
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. All right. Yes, that really does help, right? Nominally typing versus structural typing. And nominally typing is a Kotlin or Java thing. I get it. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So nominal is just like for chat. It's like a confusing word, right? It sounds like
it means based on the name, technically.
Exactly. Like if you say this function takes some nominal type, it's going to look at that type's name and you can't pass it anything else unless it's like explicitly that like constructed from a constructor or something of that type, in Java at least. So I am replicating this with brands in TypeScript. So I use a brand. Are you familiar with brands?
I am not familiar with brands. Yeah.
Okay.
Diving into it sounds awesome.
Cool little lesson here. So let's say where brands come in useful is, let's say we have a function where we want to say, let's just say we say send email, right? And we want, I don't need two tabs open right now. And we take an email and it's a string. And I don't know, we'll just return like, I don't know what we should return here. A Boolean to represent if it sent or not, I guess. It's contrived, but it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter what we do in here. Send email and return true if successful. Great. But we also have to do like some validation in here on our email, right? Like it's kind of annoying that every single time that we use our send email function around the app, we either have to validate beforehand or put the validation in the email. But one thing we could do is, let's say we're getting like the user data from the database, it's coming across the wire. We could use something like a Zod parser. Trying to think about if I do this anywhere. Let's just say we say function validate email. So you can do something like you get a string and we're going to return a type called email. Right, perfect. This is exactly how you do it. So you can create this branded type, and normally it doesn't have this. Let me change this up just a little bit because
Sure.
A branded type is going to generally look like this, where it's going to be T and your brand. So this brand type part right here, that's erased at compile time. It doesn't carry any structure with it at runtime. There's no memory overhead cost, nothing. And we use a unique symbol to like get this almost nominal typing feature. So like our nominal type here is email, right? So we have this new type email, and it's going to be a string and our branded email. Now we can come in here and say the only place that we can ever return or get an email type is from here. So we'll return an email. And let's just say we, do validation and like throw error if invalid, right? And down here, you can return email. And this is like the only time I ever really advocate for casting for the most part is right here. And it's constrained to one spot. And now when you get that out, you can be like email equals, or let's just say user email equals validate email. And like I said, you can imagine you're getting this from like across the wire and then like parsing it with Zod. Like when I was consulting with Formidable, what we would do a lot is brand types with Zod. And a lot of times it would be like IDs, like rather than passing IDs around your front end app that is just like branded or typed as, a string, you could brand it as a user ID or a blog post ID or a to-do ID. And then you can differentiate and constrain your functions to only accept, like a user ID. And then you can't just pass in like these random strings. So now we have a user email, right? And this is really just a string, but we have a brand attached to it. And
so I've done similar in Go code, right? In Go code, I might have like an ID versus a name, right? Similar to what we did in the OCaml, but really like they're both strings,
Right. Exactly. We take advantage of the structural typing to mock nominal typing because of this brand, which is just a symbol. Here, if we say we're only going to take an email now, we can't pass any other string into send email v2 this is going to be, nope, can't do it. This is a string. We can only pass in strings that have been validated through our function. Now we can pass in user email and we're good to go. We know it's a valid email. So that's kind of how branding works.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get that. Yeah, I really like that. So similar to what you could do with Go, right, as just like aliasing a type to string, but then in your serialization, it's either an ID or a name, right? Like, really
exactly. Cool. And you can, in fact, I actually think Zod might even have like a .brand function built in to the API.
Yeah, I'm not aware. I've never used it myself, but yeah, the dude who makes Zod, really awesome. Fun to golf with, by the way.
Colin, is that who it is?
Yeah, Colin Hacks is his actual like stream name. I forget what his last name is now. Shit.
Yeah.
I'll just say Colin.
So-
We're good.
I took the idea of brands and
do have a
I
brand
then
function.
added a second symbol or a second brand to this with our actual type that we're branding. Actually, the comments here are actually pretty good. So like this represents branded type. Branded type is a base type T extended with a unique brand B, making it distinct from the base type. This is for creating types that are structurally identical to a base type, but are treated as unique by the type system. So then we build on that to make nominal. And we say we have this nominal type that has some type T, and we give it a symbol, which extends symbol, and then we pass brand, the type, and to the symbol. So we could say in here, like, let's say we have, I don't know, let's say we have a to do. Let's say to do symbol. And do something like this. And in fact, we don't even need to have this be a runtime thing. You can say declare const to do brand, I guess, or to do symbol. You can just do it like that. And it's literally at the type level, a unique thing. And we can say like my type to do is going to be a nominal. Let's just say we have like ID is a string, done is a boolean, and I don't know, name is a string. Sure. And then we pass in our type of to do symbol. And now we effectively have like this nominally typed to do thing. And you can even like go a step further and like almost like treat this type as opaque here if you do void. And then you can basically hide what the internal structure of some type looks like to consumers. So they can't just like, they couldn't access, if you had like X is a to do, they couldn't come in here and be like X dot, this is like a really bad example, but like they couldn't come in here and mutate. All they have is this like top level variable that is a to do. And you can then like build up modules, which this is kind of like how I like to build things in TypeScript nowadays. In fact, if we go to the list, right? So we have our type list where it is a nominal single type of T. And then to operate on that internal structure, you have to use these functions. There is like no other way to operate on that data other than using the API I exposed.
What's
You
actually
can't get to the
exposed,
internal
right?
data. Yeah, you can't get to the internal data because the type system prevents it. It's opaque. It's a really
so
cool
you
pattern.
couldn't actually cast it to any and then do some magic?
You could technically cast to any, but like the under
You wouldn't get any like
wouldn't
type
know-
safety beyond that because you cast to any already,
Right, and you wouldn't know
Okay.
without digging into the source code. So in this example, you would have to go into my library, and then you
Mhm.
would have to go into the melange runtime to figure out what a list actually looks like. And under the covers,
Okay.
a list is just like this linked right here. This is what a list looks like. It's a head
So
and a
that's
tail.
like a nice and cool way of doing like private stuff without actually making it private so that you could actually call into it and
Exactly.
like, you know, in your
Exactly.
testing, do whatever you want. But like, you know, at the top level, you at least like give them some training wheels, you know?
Yeah, so like if you went and looked at our list test, the only way we can ever operate on our list. So let's say we want to make in OCaml, our lists are linked lists. So we have like this of array, right? So
Right.
the only way to get a list in this library is to pass in an array. And
Right.
then once we have the list, the only way to do anything with this is to use the functions that are on this list module. So we have things like head and tail and at.
Length, right? Like whatever, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
in fact,
Like
if we
that
go-
totally works. I like that.
Yeah, actually the symbol outline will kind of outline what the API is. So here's like all the functions that we can operate on that type with. And there is an underlying data structure there, right? Obviously there has to be, but
Right.
consumers can't see that or know what it is. They have to use our API to operate on it, which
Cool.
has a lot of value in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that. I really like that, actually. That's good.
So yeah, that's been like the type level hackery I've been at TypeScript the past couple weeks.
Right? Making the melange wrapper, right? Because you need to wrap a somewhat more expressive language into the language that people would be consuming it by.
Yep. So melange, for anyone that doesn't know, is a compiler for compiling OCaml or ReasonML to JavaScript. So the melange runtime is essentially the entirety of the OCaml standard library compiled to JavaScript. Now, there are some like really not user-friendly types that power that runtime. So like the list that we just looked at, right? Like it's this confusing structure that is a bunch of JavaScript objects that have this head and tail is going to be the same structure. So it's this like really long recursive structure that sometimes doesn't make a bunch of sense. And like, it just wouldn't be really friendly to like expose that structure to consumers. Like it's just really hard to work with.
Yeah.
But if we
right,
put
you want to give them
API
something they're
it,
familiar with, right? And none of like 2_list is not a function I'm familiar with as a TS dev,
right?
You know,
exactly. So I built like this nice little opinionated wrapper in front of the OCaml standard library in JavaScript that feels more JavaScripty.
Cool. I love that. Yeah, awesome.
So Travis or Tech Savvy Travis is actually doing something super similar and very cool, which I think has a much higher potential for widespread use. And he's writing a little library that I would like to help out with called CrabTS.
Of course. Nice.
So he's taking his favorite parts of Rust's standard library and its type system and doing exactly what I'm doing here. But whereas I'm kind of bound to the decisions people made years ago in BuckleScript for like how a bunch of this stuff is like represented at runtime, he has the liberty of, you know, starting from scratch. So he doesn't have to do some of this like hackery. Like he can just make like a really nice, pleasant, functional programming library for like the rest of us. Like I love EffectTS, I love TSFP, but like I don't want to think about monoids and monads and semigroups and like all that stuff when I'm writing code. Like I want results, I want options, I want to be able to chain functions, I want type safety, you know, like those are the things I want when I'm like writing functional programming in TypeScript. And
absolutely.
That's where he's going with CrabTS. And I think it could be super valuable.
Okay. So what I think you're saying is I need to establish like a pairing stream with Tech Savvy Travi too.
Yeah, like anything we could do to build that library up and promote it. I think, like I said, I think it has the potential to be like the functional programming library for everybody and not like these. I love functional programming, but like there is just academic terminology around it that makes it inherently hard to find good resources to learn it sometimes and can
right
be
like
gatekeepy.
If you've ever looked into Ramda is an entire vocabulary you have to learn.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly,
oh my god,
yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
So
yeah,
and like that's exactly like my intent of this library too, right? It's like make it easy, make it sensible. Like everyone can understand what a result is and an option is, and you can look at like what map and then do, and you're like, oh, map. I can map in an array in JavaScript, and I can map on a result. That just must mean I can change the value. You don't have to like worry about that it's a monad. Like it doesn't matter that options and results are monad. It matters that I can just like suddenly chain a bunch of functions together on my results and like do really cool stuff. Let me see. Like I have a whole like chaining API in here too. Is this chain? Well, this might not be the best place to show it, but
yeah, as an example, real quick, the Elixir version of like the code we've been working on is fully chainable because all it needs to do is return a config, right? and you use that config to pass into other things, right? Because if you were to, right, looking at what we're doing with Vexilla in general, if I were to sync my flags, that would actually modify the config with the lookup table that we need, etc. But you need to return that config and have it chainable with other things you want to do. Because, the base level config isn't going to have the lookup table unless you chain it with the sync flags type functionality, sync manifest, etc.
Yeah. I think Elixir, I'm personally more bullish on Gleam than Elixir.
Touche. But Elixir is getting types.
Yeah, I know. I think I am very excited if Elixir pulls off their type system, which, if you remember me saying earlier that David Bloss, the guy doing R-Type, he, to my understanding, is trying to do something similar to Elixir. So Elixir is using this type system called set theoretic types. And I don't know enough to go into the weeds here, but the high level premise of their type system. So Elixir, much like JavaScript, dynamic language, and they need to add a gradual type system. So they need to bolt on a type system that enables them to still express all the dynamism of Elixir, but build the type system on top of that. And rather than doing like this structural type system that TypeScript has, they're going with like this set theoretic type system. And they are suggesting, well, they're not even suggesting, they're straight out saying that they're going to be able to create a fully sound type system with this model, which it would be, to my knowledge, the first gradual type system that is sound. So TypeScript is not sound. We have things like the type system can lie to us very easily in certain circumstances. But if Elixir lands like this type system, like if I were the TypeScript team, like I'd be looking at this and being like, is this something we could start introducing and pivot to over time, because you get full type soundness.
Right. Yeah, so in like current Elixir, not like modern Elixir that has types, you could use like type struct and get like runtime errors from like things like that, but it's still not like full. And the biggest thing to remember about TypeScript versus other type systems is TypeScript is compile time only. So you don't get any runtime checks for anything you have. And if you could eventually get something like a compile time error and also runtime error from these things that are also like congruous, like they're the same thing, that would actually be really influential and like cool for TypeScript. So runtime and compile time being part of the same thing would actually be the future of TypeScript, in my opinion.
It's like once you've had a taste of a type system that works for you, like TypeScript is just, it leaves a lot to be desired, and TypeScript's done a world of good for web dev and has showed a bunch of people the value of static types, but like the type system itself could be way better.
So the biggest problem I want to point out real quick before, like, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
There are people out there that prefer the dynamic nature of JavaScript. They don't want the strict nature of TypeScript, right? Technically, InstaFluff, if you're familiar with them as a streamer, they actually prefer dynamically typed JavaScript. They are not on the TypeScript bandwagon yet. And as far as the work they've done at Amazon, they're actually like, they're totally fine. Like the thing they're doing actually benefits from the legacy of not having types and just being able to do what you need, right? If they had built it from scratch, maybe he might have a different opinion, but the thing he works on right now, or at least as the last time I checked in, he is utilizing the dynamic nature in magical ways, but it's still like beneficial in some contexts, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Knows my motto: use languages intended to remove build processes, use JS stock, and get parameters, try harder, get good. Same thing, at least as much as possible. Yeah, I mean, I'm like not 100% 100% sold on the no build process stuff. Like I like using JSDoc for like simple things. Well, actually, now that there's Bun, like I was using JSDoc for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, and then Bun really got solid, and I don't have to fight configuring TypeScript anymore. I would much rather write TypeScript than JSDoc. And using Bun, I don't have a build step, so I generally default to TypeScript with Bun. But
yeah, I get that.
I'd be curious if you put that person you were just talking about in a language like ReasonML or OCaml, where you get super good type inference. Like in like the Lexer and parser I was showing earlier, I don't have any of my types annotated, yet I have better type safety than TypeScript. Like I'd be curious to know what that person would think about an experience like that if they gave it an honest shot, because I think so many people that get a bad taste in their mouth about TypeScript, I mean, I think they get it for like totally valid and good reasons. But like it's so easy. Like if TypeScript's the only type system you've ever worked with, it's so easy. And like I was in this boat until a year and a half ago. I was like, oh, static types are static types are static types. Like what's the difference between TypeScript, Go, and Java? Like
sure,
whatever.
So I would jump into the idea of Elixir without types and just fail fast, you know? Like, yeah, let that process die. Who cares, right? You're going to find the logs about it and you're going to solve it and then you're done, right?
Or you could use Riot and have bulletproof type safety, and also when you need to raise exceptions and fail and restart the process.
Sure. Yeah, I get that, right? But at the end of the day, like there's an initial investment of solidifying your types first versus prototyping. And Elixir is really good at prototyping. And I think that's like a thing that's beneficial.
I really do like Elixir. Like I would be totally happy working full-time in Elixir.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, even Theo says the same thing. Like, he misses Elixir, right? And he misses maybe the type system, but does he that much? Because, again, you fail so fast that you're fine, you know? And you're good to go. And it's not going to crash your entire system.
Yep, and you don't have to wrestle generics and ternary types.
Right.
And
there's a lot of like magic and BS you got to do for like a proper type system. When in realistically, like you know what data you got. If it fails, then it fails. Like if it dies, it dies. You know, like yeah, it's like almost the Rocky meme.
Oh no! God damn it, Spiro!
Double finger bang. Heyo! Oh no! I need to see this clip. I think now. Hold on. Copy link. Let me watch. Oh, no. It's a clip of this stream. Whatever. Yeah, I'm less double finger bangable. You know.
Also clip worthy. Oh, man.
Phrasing is a thing.
We've got all of our feature types, I think, right? Passing test now, right?
Yeah, we have a value type, right?
Let's go
in our tests.
We got selective, gradual. Oh shit, we only have selective and gradual. I guess we have more to do. Well,
toggle is the easy one, and value is basically what we just did, but not using lists. You know,
so even easier. So we should be able to knock those two out super fast next time, and then get started on like I guess the code gen stuff, maybe
the code gen part, right? Also like the documentation part might be a really interesting thing to like show people about how OCaml is totally different from how you might document something with TypeScript, etc.
Yeah, we can like dive into MLIs and ODoc generation and all that.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. So we made some major progress today. Like I really appreciate you like just jumping on in like impromptu. Like sorry for not having this planned out sooner. But
oh no, dude, I'm sorry that I had to cancel earlier. I don't know if you can. Yeah, Winnie's.
No, man. I hope your dog's like chilling, man. Hope they're good.
She is, and like that's the worst part about it is like it's her anxiety that is the problem. She has like this acid reflux problem
Right.
that she's had since she was a puppy, where every 4 to 6 months she'll get like this bout of acid reflux for like a week.
That's rough.
And fortunately, we recently in like the past year have learned how to treat it reasonably well and quickly.
Oh, cool.
But like she'll get this acid reflux where she has to like just keep swallowing, and she feels like she can't swallow and breathe. So then she panics and she starts licking everything and freaking out. And you basically like on Tuesday night, I basically from 4:30 p.m. I sat on the floor with her and just like pet her and kept her calm until like almost midnight until she was like out.
So
It's
hold
like,
on, let me just say, like, when I've overdone it, yeah, I'm in the same bout. Like, you know, I got to just like keep swallowing to prevent from needing to vomit or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
my favorite part is the fact that she chose to sleep in like the spotlight right there, right? Like, can you see your camera right now? That's amazing. That's a smart dog.
She is Winnie. Winnie, look.
Nah, she's sleeping. Let her just be
She's
the
out.
spotlight. Yeah, she's good. That's amazing though.
So yeah, that was my. I sat on the floor literally right behind me right here for like 6 hours. No, longer than that. 8 hours.
I see the thumbs up from that Apple camera.
Jesus.
Nailed it. All right. It even like froze your camera while the thing was
know.
showing.
I
That
saw
was even better.
Ridiculous.
All right. But yeah, that was super good, man. Like, yeah, thank you for that session. Thank you for joining on an impromptu, just like, hey, let's make it happen kind of thing. And yeah.
Digged it. That's fun. It was cool going over like some of the type system stuff and TypeScript and talking about Elixir. Digged it.
Yeah, this was a great session. So looking forward to next week. You still good?
Cool, man. Yeah, I should. I feel like I say this every week. I should be a good Tuesday, and then my dog has a.
It's fine. Again,
So,
next week
yeah,
I
man.
can push it to Thursday, no problem anyway. So we're good.
Cool. Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Actually, oh wait, what is the date next Tuesday?
Tuesday is
Tuesdays
not
from now.
Valentine's Day. Wednesday is Valentine's Day.
Not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday, when I come on stream, I'll be able to tell you about my first day at Vercel and how that
Oh
went.
shit! Oh hell yeah! I'm looking forward to that too. That sounds amazing.
Very excited.
Yeah, dude.
Very,
Oh,
very
congrats again. Good job, man. Good job.
Thank you. All right, dude. Well, you have a lovely evening and the rest of your week. And chat, thank you for sticking around and hanging out and hearing my rants about type systems. I'm going to, again, just like shamelessly promote that blog post I shared because I think
Every
everyone should
single
read it.
thing you want to promote, do so right now. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like check that blog post out. It fundamentally describes the change that I've experienced over the past year and a half and how I approach programming, and does the best job at putting words to the feeling I've had. So
Before
thank
you
so
go,
much, Chris.
hold on. Do you want to shout out a link to your melange wrapper as well?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'll share 2 links that I think if people are interested
Sure.
in what we talked about tonight. The first is that library that we had on stream a couple times where I was wrapping melange. So right now it's called Melange FFI. We might call it OCaml script. We might call it Frame in JS. I don't know what we're going to call it yet. It's very close to a 1.0. And there's some really, really cool type stuff in here if you're interested in that sort of thing. In fact, maybe a better link even is the NPM package, because that's where the .d.ts lives.
Oh, there you go.
See like all the types here. So that would be an interesting bit to look at if you enjoyed what we talked about tonight. And then the other thing is I built a tool called Create Melange App, which is very much in the spirit of like Create T3 app and Create React app and all those tools to help you get started writing and learning OCaml, ReasonML, and Melange super quickly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Well, I will catch you next week.
Yeah. Have a great night. Yep. Thank you for joining. tell J. Cole I say hi, and I appreciate
will.
her like jumping in and letting us know that you'd be a little bit late. Honestly, that was perfect. Great timing.
Listen, she's in a competition. Don't let her fool you. She's in a competition with Nightshade to have like the most moderatorships across tech streamer channels. She's just trying to bamboozle you into giving her moderatorship.
Well, I'll do that anyway. How about that? That's easy. No big deal. Nailed it.
Oh man.
Boom.
Good Lord.
I'm helping.
I gotta send her a rice cook-off.
Right? There you go. Rice cook-off. This is me doing like
So-
the meme from Starship Troopers. I'm doing my part. There you go, J. Cole.
There is a meme in my Twitch chat where Justine came in one morning and like didn't know how to cook rice, and she asked me very extensive questions on how to cook rice. I was like, just put it in the water and boil it, and my chat just like ran with it, and it's now a meme.
Okay. There's actually like a really good meme about like, yes, if you have rice, there's like a measure of like the knuckles on your finger for like how
That's
much
I
water
do
you
it.
should
That's
have
how
like
I taught
above.
her.
Right? Yeah.
That's how I do it. Always
Yep.
clean your rice, chat. Always clean your rice.
Oh, always rinse the rice. Absolutely.
3 rinses. 3 rinsers.
Oh. Okay, I've only done 2, but yeah, I'll do a third.
Actually, this is so like weird that this just came up because like, is this gonna be in my cart? Oh, it's gone.
Oh no! You got a rice
Oh,
cooker?
right here it is. I'm getting ready to order a really nice rice cooker. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a rice cooker right now that I use totally. Like, it's really good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, I
All
just
right, man.
made
I'm gonna
Mongolian
jump
beef.
off.
But anyway, yep. Have a good one. Later. Cheers. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. Peace.
All right, later. All right. That was an awesome session, everyone. Yeah, really good. Really good stuff. So, let me make sure I get scene set up right. Oh, that ain't it. Oh, I'm on the wrong scene. All right, so I can leave that one showing, but I'm on the wrong scene. And there we go. There's the main. So yeah, if y'all don't know, I end up watching my stream to see what dmmulroy is doing, so I'm a little like delayed when he does it, but I think that's fine because it lets him do his thing without me jumping in too early. And yeah, so I think this is a good moment for me to end my stream as well. Who's actually going right now? Who's out there streaming? Is Leo Stera going? Because Leo Stera would be the most appropriate raid at the moment, for sure. But he isn't. Ryan Winchester, is Ryan going? Oh, let's go raid Ryan. Absolutely. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. So yeah, thank you for joining Blind Kamikaze. For sure, man. All right, so we're going to go raid into Ryan Winchester's stream. Hey, Spiridon, come on. It's not actually cool to dox a raid. Come on, Spiridon. You should know better. Doxing a raid ain't cool. It's fine. Now you know if you didn't know. But yeah, please don't dox the raids. I get it. It's fine. It's okay, right? Again, it's one of those things where like the surprise of the raid is like really valuable and fun and like a really cool like moment, and spoiling it is a little bit of a bummer, but I'm not gonna judge you for it. We're not mad, we're just disappointed. There you go, dmmulroy. Exactly. All right, so Ryan Winchester, I gotta remember the underscore because I might raid someone else, and that would be weird. No, Spiridon, you don't have to do anything. Again, like no expectations, now you know. You're fine, you got it. Right? Now you know. It's easy. Bam, that's the simplest, like, now you know and the problem's solved. Like, man, I wish everything could be that easy. So we're gonna go raid Ryan Winchester. I'll be over on gaming here in a little bit. I don't like actually being called dad because it makes me feel old. old are you? Aren't we the same age? Come on. Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, if y'all want to game with me at some point, that's my gaming stream. Tonight, I'll be cooking some bacon and eggs, probably, something. And then we'll hop into maybe some Persona 3, which is pretty fun. Unless there's some, like, group of people that want to play a multiplayer game together. But yeah, so that's what I'll be doing over there. We're going to go say hi to Ryan Winchester, who's awesome. Right? And again, like, the timing of it, like, oof. Right? He got spoiled a good minute and a half ago, and he's been anticipating on pins and needles the entire time. Like, oof. But no, we get it. I'll see you guys over on Ryan's stream or on my stream, or I'll see you tomorrow. Later.